So, good evening, and guten Abend for those who can speak German or understand German. I'm going to make a small, a small announcement. We are live now. Let me welcome my guest first. Tonight's program will probably be speaking more Yoruba than English. And I will tell my listener already Matthew TV I have the biggest problem I have. We are live. Onípe Anama ṣèdè wa, Russian ṣèdè wọn, Indian ṣèdè wọn, Chinese ṣèdè wọn. Àwa máa lá máa ṣèdè wa, a máa tún fún òyìnbó sọ lédè wa. We might as well start now. Àwọn táwọn máa gbọ́ ipá mẹ́wàá náà kan gbọ́ nìkan gbọ́. I understand that we have been our language have been polluted, our race have been polluted, everything has been polluted because we are more or less the only race tí on colonize, tí a dey choose láti gba gbogbo everything, ká copy and paste wọn. Àwọn tó kù, Indian, let me. Yes, citizen.
Right. Good evening. Mo kí gbogbo lé o. Fashakin mo kí yín o.
Ẹ káalẹ́ o. Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta.
Fashakin mo kí yín mà kí ẹ ṣé o. Baba Aliyu. Ẹ kú ọjọ́ mẹ́ta o.
Ìgbà tẹ́ máa dé
Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ sá o.
It might not be popular, but ẹ pa mẹ́wàá náà máa gbọ́ show ìlálẹ́ yìí. We need to start from somewhere.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ sir.
Àwọn tá à ń address, àwọn tá à ń jà fún indirectly or indirectly, they are Yoruba people. Ale, mo ti stop Professor Wole Soyinka, Baba Uncle. Àwọn people yóò gbọ́n tẹ̀ ń sọ, òyìnbó yìí pọ̀. And he laughed, ó lóòótọ́ ló sọ. So I know, but ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ibì kan. Well, it's okay. Àárín méjì ẹ̀ tábà máa sọ ìgbó ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ ìgbó. But ẹ jọ̀ọ́, let us appreciate ipe this is a collection of Yoruba. Why Yoruba ni gbogbo àtàwọn àbí? Maybe next time, I have one or two Fulani or Hausa or Takpa. If I bring them on board, then
you can complain Yoruba. Gbogbo n tẹ́ ń sọ yìí àdàlú náà ni. Maybe next time. Ẹ ò dàbí Yorùbá létí
rẹ̀. Mo lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ pé mo lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí become conscious of it pé.
Àwọn àbá yín pìkẹ́.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ipò mo lè rán lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ okay, Eligua Franca wa. Gẹ́gẹ́ mo ṣe sọ, àwa Yorùbá, let me stick with Yorùbá. La gba everything, copy and paste lọ́dọ̀ òyìnbó. Àwọn Indian, Paki and some other people tó kù. Kò sí nǹkan tí wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ wọn. For 400 years, tí wọ́n fi kọ́ the only thing tí wọ́n gbà ni technology wọn. And as we speak, bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ up to today, Indian ẹjẹ oúnjẹ ọ̀nà ń jẹ, ìwà ọ̀nà ń hù, ìrìn wọn náà rìn, aṣọ ọ̀nà ń wọ̀. I want to be challenged. So mo kàn rò, pé ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ Yorùbá. Àwọn tó ń bá gbọ́, tó ń bẹ̀ sí translate ẹ̀. But where tí wá jẹ́ pé ó ti di pa, a máa sọ òyìnbó díẹ̀. A sọ, mi ò mọ ẹni tó fẹ́, if any one of my guests want to say something, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ can also kick us off so we can talk before we are live though.
Oh, our live?
Yes.
Okay.
All that I will say is that I will try my best to speak as much Yoruba as I can.
Thank you.
But I cannot make any promises.
That's fine.
You have to remember that I left Nigeria a long, long time ago, and most of my professional life has been conducted in English. And most of the I don't think I've ever lived amongst Yoruba people since I left Nigeria.
Interesting.
That's 50 years ago. It's a long time.
Wow.
So asking me to be talking Yoruba it's going to be difficult, but I'll try my best.
I am very, very happy to hear. Now, like I said, I left 1970, 54 years ago. Let me go more only. But I'm happy. It's what I said. Okay, Dr. Fashakin, you wanted to make a contribution.
Well, my comment is Yoruba. We didn't all grow up with Yoruba, plain and simple. Àdàlú ni wọ́n fi raise wa nígbà tá a wà nílé. I've been in America for 33 years. I was in England for 6 years. I had there for 39 years tí mo ti kúrò nílé. ibi ni mo ti raise gbogbo àwọn ọmọ mi ṣùgbọ́n wọ́n ń sọ Yorùbá níwọ̀n bọ́n bá ṣe lè sọ torí mi ò fẹ́ kán sọ pé kán gbéwú gbédà káwọn ọmọ máa mọ ibi tán máa yà sí àbí kán máa plánù lẹ́yìn wọn kán máa gbọ́ èdè wọn. So all of my children, my son is 41 years of age and the sister is 39. Mo lọ́mọ tó jẹ́ last born mi is 25. Gbogbo wọn between England and here láti raise gbogbo wọn. But minimally pé kán sọ Yorùbá lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wọn káwọn náà lè dáhùn, wọ́n lè dáhùn with accent o, but wọ́n á dáhùn reasonably. So and that is all that is required. Pé mo sọ ń sìn náà but that is all that is required. That's not Yorùbá. Kò sí bá a fẹ́ sọ tí a ò ní mix òyìnbó mọ́. We grew up. So láti ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa máa bí wá léèrè I am 66 years of age. Kéèyàn kan ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ máa fẹ́ máa insist lérí nǹkan tí mi ò tí ì ṣe for 66 years. It's like a wasted venture. So kò need sọ Yorùbá. Àwọn tó bá máa gbọ́ ti mọ̀ pé a máa mix ẹ̀, a máa àdàlú ni, a máa àdàlú tó dàlú ni. So ẹ má jẹ́ ká waste time lórí pé a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ Yorùbá. Mo ń sọ fáwọn YSDM one time. Mo ní Yorùbá self-determination. Apart from the Yorùbá tẹ́ ẹ sọ yẹn, ṣé self-determination ṣé Yorùbá ni? So kí la máa dààmú ara wa lé lórí? Ẹkú ẹgbẹ́ yẹn jọ Yorùbá self-determination. Ẹ lè wá Yorùbá word for self-determination kẹjọ yẹn mọ́ Yorùbá yẹn kó lè jẹ́ Yorùbá.
Well, I can tell them what self-determination is in Yoruba. Ìdádúró.
Ìdádúró, àjàngbara, ẹgbẹ́ àjàjàngbara, ẹgbẹ́ onídádúró, ẹgbẹ́ òmìnira kankan. But their official name is Yoruba self-determination.
Bàbá Aliyu, kí ni tẹ́kì?
No, tó bá ní ti tèmi o. Ní opinion ti tèmi tí ó bá rọ̀yàn lọ́rùn ní kí n yóò ṣe but tèmi mọ̀ pé ní àwọn tá a fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ará ilé ni up to today àwọn èèyàn wa more than 90% of àwọn èèyàn wa wọn ò gbọ́n tá à ń sọ yìí kò yé wọn ara tí wọ́n ń pariwo láti ìpìlẹ̀ nìyẹn níbi ní bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí sọ èmi mélòó ló gbóyìnbó ní kìíní àwọn èèyàn wa gangan la lọ́rọ̀ bá sọ̀rọ̀ wọn ò support níta gbé dání o gbogbo ìgbà yẹn táwọn àwọn ní Ọmọlúkà kò tán parọ́ fún wọn à ń sọ fún ọmọ ní tẹ bá lọ sílé tẹ bá lọ even àwọn míì bẹ woman kan sọ pé àwọn ò lè lọlé o wọ́n máa pa wọn o mo ní tẹ bá lọlé yóò yà yín lẹ́nu pé ẹ ò pa àwọn wo ló ń jà fún Yorùbá wọ́n sọ pé àwọn ò mọ̀ tí ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ gbogbo rally tá à ń ṣe káàkiri yẹn ibi tá bá ti ṣe rally ẹnu àwọn tó bá kàn ṣàdédé tán kọjá níbẹ̀ ni wọ́n mọ̀ pé nǹkan ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ lè mọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa ní ká bá sọ̀rọ̀ tá a bá rí àwọn èèyàn wa convince nílé níbi kankan lọ that is the truth of the matter àwọn èèyàn wa gangan ní issue èmi ò sì gbọ́ bí tẹ́yìn ti fẹ́ gba òmìnira tẹ́yìn ní kárí àwọn èèyàn yẹn along so àwọn tó sì gbọ́ tó mọ̀ pa ń pèpè àwọn bíi religious leader wọn ò ní interest religious leader ló sì lérò lẹ́yìn so bọ́n sọ lérò lẹ́yìn tó ńgbà tó yẹ pé ní àwo àráyè penetrate wọn dáadáa ká báwọn èèyàn wa sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ bá tí wàá wọn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn ẹ rí i pé ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ti ń padà lẹ́yìn àwọn religious leader wọ́n ti rí i pé wọ́n ń lo àwọn ni so opportunity tàbí wá ní nísìn òun náà ni pé ní ẹ jẹ́ ká wá ọ̀nà tá a fi lè wọlé sí àwọn èèyàn wa lá àwọn irú nǹkan oríṣiríṣi wo la lè ṣe nílé tó fi lè jẹ́ pé ní àwọn èèyàn gan ó fi ní some relief because nígbà tẹ́ni tó wà ní abroad tó bá ń pèpè fún òmìnira póríṣiríṣi lára òmìnira náà ni kí ká empower àwọn èèyàn wa lára àwọn òmìnira because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa one way ni wọ́n believe aláǹjà fún pé òmìnira pé a fẹ́ ká dá dúró ìyẹn ò mí ni pé ní kákó kàn jẹ́ one way ìgbà míì bẹ ẹni dàtí stop kẹwẹ̀yìn wò kẹ reverse but ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wa ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa ní ibi tá a bá sá lọ káka mọ́ lọ direct no ìgbà míì bẹ support ọmọ ìyá yín tó bá wà ní government yes ẹlòmíì ó fún yín lépè torí pé ẹ support ẹ ó gba election yẹn à ń sọ fún wọn pé ní Tinubu ni kẹ́ ẹ support wọ́n ń ṣe pé wọ́n ń bèébú okay tẹ́ ẹ bá support Tinubu ṣé ẹ ti rí Yorùbá nation gbà ni why can't you support your own tẹ́ bá support ti yín ìyẹn òbí ni pé kẹ́ ẹ má continue pẹ̀lú tẹ́ ẹ ń ṣe náà gbogbo opportunity tá à ń rí lónìí tí kì í bá ṣe pé ní Tinubu ẹ rò pé wọ́n lè release Ìgbòho ni ó lè release ẹ̀ náà.
Let me quickly.
I would like to. I want to make a comment about this idea that you need to mobilize the grassroots before you can get anywhere. The grassroots, our people sent us to school. They educated us to lead them. That's what we should be doing. We should be providing them with leadership. We should show them the way where to go. Not that grassroots. I mean, you know, my own people where I come from. What are they going to do? I mean, they're busy. One you know, they have their own problems. What they expect us to do as people that they have invested in our education is to lead them, to provide them with leadership, and that's what we should be doing.
But
let me explain.
Let me take control. Hold on a minute. Alagba AY. Let me get officially started because, like I said, I brought this idea of Aso Yoruba become Aso Yoruba, and I'm happy the majority here did not have anything against it. Than we pay Ejeka 1 minute. Ejeka Aso Yoruba. That's fine. I just want to start that argument, that discussion. I mean, it's not going to be today. Achieve Yoruba, whatever. And without further ado, let me officially open the show. And I want to invite all my guests here tonight. In a second, I'm going to get them to introduce themselves one by one. It's my pleasure again. I've been doing every Friday show, one-on-one or OtunbaHOO with guests for some time now. And business of talking is about 20 years now, and it gives me pleasure every Friday to be with my friends. All the people here, you're all my friends, and I'm very proud of you. I want to start with the lady first to do a formal introduction. So, Madam Lady first.
Baba wa. Mo kí gbogbo ilé, mo kí bàbá wa Fashakin, mo kí bàbá wa Citizen AY. Bàbá Ọ̀túnba, the host, mo kí ẹ kú iṣẹ́ ribiribi. Mo kí gbogbo ilé ní gbogbo ibi tẹ́ bá ti ń gbọ́ ohùn mi.
Dr. Aliyu.
Bàbá Aliyu. Mi ò rójú wọn ni o. Ẹ má bínú sí o.
Lọ́yà kan tẹ̀wá bí tó lè gbà.
Ẹ dákun, ẹ dáríjì mi o. Mi ò ṣàkóso.
Ẹ pẹ̀lẹ́ mọ̀, ẹ kújọ́ mẹ́ta.
Ṣé dáàdì, thank you sir. Orúkọ tèmi ni agbẹjọ́rò Dókítà Janet Fashakin. Iṣẹ́ lọ́ọ̀yà ni mò ń ṣe ní ìlú Amẹ́ríkà, ọ́fíìsì mi náà ni mo jókòó tì. Mo dẹ̀ jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá, Ìjẹ̀ṣà pọ́nbélé ni mí, I'm proudly so. Mo dẹ̀ gbọ́ Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yìí náà báyẹn mọ̀ pé mo gbọ́ Yorùbá. Bí mo ṣe sọ, mo ti dá Amẹ́ríkà yìí for 33 years. Mo wà ní England for 6 years going 7 years ká tó move wá sí Amẹ́ríkà. So a total of about 39 going 40 years láti kúrò nínú ilé. Ṣùgbọ́n torí pé a jẹ́ Yorùbá, we are proudly Yorùbá. À ń sọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá, à ń jóúnjẹ Yorùbá, à ń wọṣọ Yorùbá, without any fear or intimidation and without any apology to anybody. So mo dúpẹ́ láti wà láàárín àwọn Yorùbá àtàtà. Yorùbá póríṣiríṣi ṣùgbọ́n Yorùbá àtàtà ní alẹ́ yìí. Ẹ ṣé, a dúpẹ́.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. Let me go to Fashakin. Just a short introduction to our viewers all over the world.
Okay, there is not an awful lot that I want to say. I am retired. I'm slightly older than Barrister Fashakin. Just slightly.
I can witness that.
I am also Ijesha.
Really?
Yes.
With
I'm from Ijebu.
Just ordinary Ijesha.
I'm from Ijebu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can complete that by saying my mother is from Ibadan, so I'm a sort of mixture. I am a retired orthopedic surgeon. And I've been involved. I've been involved in this self-determination movement probably a lot less than the panel, because I only became involved in 2021.
I remember.
When I joined, I was persuaded to join Ilana UK. I have continued, and I shall continue to write as much as possible. I write some stuff on Twitter. I write some stuff on Facebook, outlining for myself and for anybody who wishes to read or listen to me what I perceive to be the pathway to Yoruba nation. I'm a pacifist. I don't believe in wars. And I'm a pacifist because I saw Biafra war when I was a teenager. I went to Biafra, volunteered for the Red Cross, and saw what war did. I still remember the shock when we landed at Calabar to see the destruction that had been done, and to see women who are breastfeeding that had no milk. So when somebody talks to me about war and I say I'm a pacifist, I owe nobody any apologies. I believe that we can achieve Yoruba nation peacefully, and that is my quest.
Thank you. Let me go to, I'll come to you, Alagba citizen. But Dr. Aliyu, a short intro.
Okay, so orúkọ mi ni Aliyu Babatunde.
I wanted to announce that for some security reasons,
Benny
happens to be one of the very few campaigners that, for a lot of security reasons, please. Continue.
So, orúkọ mi ni Aliyu Babatunde Mohammed. Mo jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá. Olùkọ́ ni mí ní yunifásitì tó ti lé ní nǹkan bí 25 years tí mo ti ń lecture ní yunifásitì. Mo sì ti ṣe oríṣiríṣi ìwé níranran tí mo ti publish. So mo sì join ìjàngbara látara àwọn oríṣiríṣi tí mo ti rí lókè ọ̀yà, because ibi tí wọ́n bí mi sí nìyẹn, ibi tí mo dàgbà sí nìyẹn, ibi tí mo ń gbé nìyẹn. Kò sí nǹkan kan tí mi ò mọ̀ nípa wọn. Mo sì mọ̀ yí pé ní ọ̀nà àbáyọ fún Yorùbá òun náà ni kí ká dá dúró. Ẹ ṣeun.
Ẹ ṣé. Alagba citizen AY.
Ẹ ṣeun sá. Ìjọ kan pẹ̀lú. Ẹ ṣeun. Ẹ kálẹ̀, mo kí gbogbo ilé o, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ káàárọ̀ oòjíire. Ọ̀rọ̀ mi màá ṣe ní ṣókí, màá gbìyànjú kí n sọ Yorùbá mi kó bóyá jágara bíntí díẹ̀ báyìí. Ọ̀rọ̀ jàǹgbára yìí mo bọ́ sínú ẹ̀ nígbà tí ọ̀rọ̀ ti Ṣòwòrẹ́ ní 2018-2019. Àkọ́kọ́ nígbàgbọ́ pé bóyá Naija ṣì máa ṣe tún tò, bóyá wọn tàbá rí ọ̀dọ́ tó ní agbára tó dẹ̀ ní àwọn èrò lẹ́yìn, bóyá tó bá rí pé tó má lè wọlé, bóyá a lè rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ fún ìlú tá à ń pè ní Nàìjíríà. Ibi tá ti gbé wá nìyẹn. A wà lára àwọn tó ń ṣe town hall ní London bíbáyìí fún Ṣòwòrẹ́ ńgbà tó wá. A pe àwọn èrò pé a ṣáà lọ káàkiri lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ti Nàìjíríà. Ngbò di àsìkò ìdìbò ní 2019, ojú gbogbo wa bá là pé ó dojú ẹ o, àṣé wọ́n kàn wá ń ta àkàrà tí dòdò fún wa ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó ṣe pàtàkì wọ́n gbé sẹ́yìn. Labata jí ní gbòbáyá, labá tọ̀ ọ̀nà òmìnira Yorùbá nation ní March 2020 labá bẹ̀rẹ̀ tàbáṣà bẹ̀m̀bẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa sọ̀rọ̀. Ibẹ̀ náà láti rí èmi àti àwọn bàbá wa Ọ̀túnba Òsèní, mo fi tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ dárúkọ yín sà, àti Adé Thomas àti Alàgbà David Hamilton, àti àwọn tó kù bẹ́ẹ̀, kódà Yomi Koiki, Erelu, Abẹ́kíadé, àti àwọn èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn èèyàn jankan-jankan. A ṣáà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní jíròrò lórí ọ̀rọ̀ ti Yorùbá. Láìpẹ́ a bá dá Odùduwà TV radio lẹ̀ ní March 2020. àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá nation pé aláti dá dúró aláti sọ àwọn èèyàn wájú ìyà yìí ti tó n tó ń ṣe àwọn ìjọba ń rẹwà jẹ o bẹ́ẹ̀ aṣáà tẹ̀síwájú títí di bí a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ibi tá àti bá débì kan gbogbo wa lápapọ̀ ẹ má jẹ́ ká tẹ́ńbẹ́lú iṣẹ́ tá a ṣe o gbogbo wa torí tí a bá pariwo pé Yorùbá nation kò sí èèyàn kankan ní gbogbo àgbáyé tó máa mọ nǹkan tí à ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀ torí náà ẹ má jẹ́ ká sọ pé bóyá kò tó nǹkan kan pé a pariwo Yorùbá nation àmọ́ sìn ọ̀nà tá a máa fi wá ṣiṣẹ́ yìí kì í ṣọ̀rọ̀ aláriwo lójú tèmi o ọ̀rọ̀ adádúró bá ẹ ṣeun.
Thank you very much. At least I've introduced my guest to you. My name is OtunbaHOO. Tonight, I have chosen to discuss two areas of my concern, and I'm sure I want you to please do me a favor. Help me share, like and love this program, just to enable many others to take advantage of the show. So, experts. These people are experts in their own different area of occupations and so on and so forth. Well, tonight I want to talk about matters arising and on and about Nigeria and YSDM. A lot of people say YSDM. YSDM is Yoruba self-determination movement. A movement like any other thing all over the world. There's me really Argentina not the biggest problem only different kind of movement. Spain, Catalonia, they are 100% want to yapa one movement on Rishi. So we'll be talking one by one. I'll be asking questions. I'll be rubbing minds with my guests one by one, and then we going to arrive at a kind of how do we continue this campaign. Let me start by saying I have always subscribed to calling Yoruba say whatever campaign business. It's not agitator. I have they can testify to it, whether is it right to be calling ourselves agitators or we should be calling ourselves campaigners. So we're going to get there in a minute. But let me start by talking about Nigeria first. I want to start with Fashakin. Me skip ladies first too. I will always appreciate that ladies in the house. What's your take about the present governance led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I want us to be quick, be 1 minute, and then I have to go to the other people. It's long couple of things I want to discuss. So
okay, I can help you out there. My own take is that I have no take on Tinubu's government at all. I have no interest. My own interest, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is when are we going to leave Nigeria? We've had over 100 years of history. It hasn't done us any good as Yoruba people. And who's the president of Nigeria or who is not is of no interest to me. The only comment I will make is that how Nigeria is a disappointment to the black race. You can imagine somebody like the young people coming up like Bello. It comes from Kogi, where everybody is poor, and he steals $1 million. To do what? So the Nigeria disease is incurable. It's incurable. And to be honest, we will be wasting time if we talk about the Nigeria disease. We are entitled to self-determination, not because of Nigeria, but because of what the British stole from us. We did not give them our land. People who have heard me talk will recall that I always refer to the Treaty of 1888, which we signed with Britain, and we did not cede a single piece of our land to Britain. Even the Niger Committee report of Shelburne in 1898 excluded Yoruba land from the plan for amalgamation. And when Lugard himself came, he himself said that they didn't know which bit of Yoruba land they owned. So my point of view is I have no interest in Nigeria. All I'm interested in is how do we get out of Nigeria?
Okay.
Now, if tomorrow Tinubu invites me to come and have a discussion on what I think is the way forward or what I think the pathway is, I'll be too glad to turn up.
Okay. Thank you, Fashakin. Let me go to Madam Dr. Janet Fashakin. Just a brief, your take on the present government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Nigeria, because we are still in Nigeria any which way anybody wants to see it. Actually, one Nigeria. So, Dr. Janet Fashakin, what's your take?
Well, my own take is ìkan ò dí kan lọ́wọ́. Ìjọba Tinubu kò dí ìjàngbara tiwa, kò dí lọ́wọ́. N tẹ̀dẹ̀ ń béèrè ni pé kí ni mo ṣe rí ìjọba Tinubu sí. To me, so far so good is what I will say. Even though ọgbọ́n tán máa ń dá ní Nàìjíríà, tán bá fẹ́ ta ọjà ní $40 tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé $20 náà ń tà tẹ́lẹ̀. Wọ́n á kọ́kọ́ gbé láti 20 yẹn lọ sí $100. Gbogbo ayé á máa ké, wọ́n á máa ké. And the next thing, wọ́n á wá gbé wálẹ̀ sí $50. Bó bá ṣe díẹ̀ sí, wọ́n á yọ 10 kúrò. Everybody á máa pariwo ìjọba yìí dá o, ìjọba yìí ṣe o, kankan o. You know, that's always the system tó máa ń lò ní Nàìjíríà. I know that for sure. Ẹ rí i pé nísìnyí báyìí àwọn èèyàn ti ń pariwo, nǹkan ti dá o, ráìsì ti di èlò náà ti ẹ̀ ló dà yẹn ná. Ráìsì ti di èlò náà ń ta tẹ́lẹ̀ 80,000 náà ń ta, ó ti di 40,000. Ìgbà tèmi lọ sí Nàìjíríà ní 2019 tí mo lọ run fún ọ́fíìsì, àwọn ráìsì tí mo pín ní táìmù yẹn fún àwọn aláìní àtàwọn opó kíní lára 18,000. Àwọn èyí tí ò dáa tó yẹn ara wọn ní 15, 16, oní 14 gan wà. Ṣebí òun ni gbogbo ní ìbáyìí mò ń gbọ́ tóbìnrin kan ń pariwo, bàbá Tinubu ẹ ṣé o, ráìsì ti di 40,000 o. Kí la ṣe lọ láti ibì kan dé ibì kan? So but having said that, no, kí wọn kú iṣẹ́ náà ni. Ṣebí bàbá Fúlàní tó kúrò ń bẹ̀ òun ò tiẹ̀ ń wojú èèyàn tiẹ̀ tó bá máa bàjẹ́ kó bàjẹ́ ni, tó bá ṣáà ti dẹ Fúlàní lọ́rùn kò sí nǹkan tó kàn tiẹ̀. So at least eléyìí tiẹ̀ tún ṣì ń wojú, ó ń wọwọ́ tayò bákan bákan. Ẹ wo currency tán gbé lọ almost tán fẹ́ gbé dé 2,000 kan tó wá sọ pé wọ́n gbé wálẹ̀ nísìnyí báyìí tó di èní báyìí ó di 1,300 or 1,400. Bí ìjẹta bí ìjẹrin 1,100 nǹkan kan ni. And this was the same dollar tó jẹ́ pé à ń rà ní 40 something naira. 40 something naira, mo sì bá wọn ra 40 something, àwọn ẹlòmíì gan ra 25 naira to a dollar. Kò sí tó ń jọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́. So a máa dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn náà ni, because tán bá láwọn ò gbé wálẹ̀ kò sí tí àwọn èèyàn fẹ́ ṣe sí. Aláwọn èèyàn tán sì wà nílé Nàìjíríà náà la ṣì wà, passport wọn la ṣì ń kárì. Gbogbo ẹni máa ṣe marriage lénìí báyìí bó ti wù kó believe nínú Yorùbá nation tó, àwọn náà sì máa sign off on this marriage certificate kan tó lè sọ pé ó wà legal. School tí wọ́n ń control náà làwọn ọmọ wa ṣì ń lọ. So gbogbo taxes wa àwọn náà la ṣì ń san fún. Business tá a bá fẹ́ register under àwọn náà ṣì ni. So ìdùnnú wa ló máa jẹ́ kí nǹkan dára. Òyìnbó ṣe sọ pé ìkan ò dí kan lọ́wọ́, ìyẹn ò dí wa lọ́wọ́ láti máa move on pé a fẹ́ gba orílẹ̀-èdè tiwa. There are parallel lines which I think may not be able to move, to join or to meet unless tá a bá rọra bẹ́ǹdì kan tá a bẹ́ǹdì kejì tá a jẹ́ kán fẹnu konu lápá òkè kó dàbí inverted V. Ìyẹn náà ni a fi lè ṣe. So a kí wọn fún nǹkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe. So far so good.
Thank you, man. Dr. Aliyu, your take on the present governance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay. ẹ ṣeun gẹ́gẹ́ bí n tá a ti ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wa pé ìyẹn ò mí ni pé bóyá tí tá a bá sọ̀pọ́tì ọmọ ìyá wa pé kó débẹ̀ ó mí ni pé bí a ti fi ìjàngbara lẹ̀ a ní kò mí because ṣé adaran ni ká lọ sọ̀pọ́tì ni kó lọ wọlé àbí àwọn ọmọ àjòkúta mọ̀mọ́ mi no matter how èèyàn wa ni ẹ̀jẹ̀ wa ni ara wa ni òun náà sì mọ̀ pé ní ilé làbọ̀ sinmi oko ẹni tó bá fẹ́ parọ́ lókù nísìn ní kọ́ńtírì tá à ń pè ní nàìjíríà tá a wà wọ́n mọ̀ pé ẹ̀kọ́nọ́mì nàìjíríà nísìn ó ti wà ní on the right track n táwa ń fẹ́ pàǹfòmìnira àpẹẹrẹ pé ní irú àwọn tó lè help wa láti lè rí òmìnira gbà àti ń rí àǹfààní ẹ̀ lápèjúwe state police gbogbo àwọn head of state pátá àwọn former head of state wọ́n jáde wá wọ́n ṣe meeting níjó ní lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n ń sọ ni pé ní there is no alternative to state police even though ọmọ ìyá wa tá a pè ní inspector general of police kò fẹ́ a sì mọ̀ pé kò lè yà wá lẹ́nu kí ló fà á tí òfin ní yà wá lẹ́nu pé ní ibi tóun ti ń jẹ nìyẹn so adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ ọlọ́run pé àwọn ará òkè ọya àwọn náà ti listen sí tí àwọn èèyàn ń sọ torí tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa insecurity tọ́dọ̀ tí wọ́n ó worst burúkú jù sàlẹ̀ lọ ìpakúpa ni wọ́n ń pa wọ́n ibi táwa ń gbé nìyẹn so now kí ni state police tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ ń pẹ̀ ẹni tó bá listen sí ọ̀rọ̀ tí Jonathan sọ ó ní state police tá à ń sọ kéde pé tẹ́wàá allow pé kí àwọn governor kọ́mọ́ lè ra àwọn sophisticated weapon ó níyẹn kọ́ o ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n ra àwọn sophisticated weapon ní o because ẹ wo ohun tí àwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ bí yìí ń gbé dání ẹ dákun tí state south west kọ̀ọ̀kan tó bá ní power láti lè ra weapons ẹ dákun ṣé òmìnira kò tí máa bọ́ sí wa lọ́wọ́ dèdè díẹ̀ ǹjẹ́ tó bá pé ìran wọn ló wà níbẹ̀ àmọ́ ní rírú opportunity yìí ǹjẹ́ tó bá pé ìran wọn Àtíkù ló wọlé irú opportunity àní rí tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé ní ọlọ́pàá ọmọ ìyá wa ló wà níbẹ̀ tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa army ọmọ ìyá wa ló wà níbẹ̀ tá a bá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa finance ọmọ ìyá wa ló wà níbẹ̀ tá a bá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa central bank ọmọ ìyá wa ló wà níbẹ̀ ẹ dákun torí tọlọ́run sẹ́rí pé iṣẹ́ ọpọlọ ni àwọn míì ní kó wọ́n débẹ̀ kó wọ́n àwọn ò fẹ́ o káà fẹ́ o ipe ní kò míìnì tí kò bá ṣe ibo ló bá débẹ̀ ní tá bá ti gba Yorùbá ní ṣáàkàn gba nǹkan wa padà rárá àǹfààní ẹ̀ láti rí yẹn ìyẹn ò disturb wa pé ká mọ́ continue pẹ̀lú struggle àmọ́ sí ń repeat ọ̀rọ̀ kan mo tún sọ a lè gba òmìnira láì ṣe pé a bá convince àwọn èèyàn wa a lè gba òmìnira láì ṣe pé a bá carry àwọn èèyàn wa along lápèjúwe nísìn àwa tèmi jẹ́ mùsùlùmí láwọn ọmọ ìyá wa tán jẹ́ mùsùlùmí you cannot talk of Yorùbá self-determination láì ṣe pé ní ẹ convince wọn ẹ jẹ́ kán mọ̀ kí nìdí kí ni ìyàtọ̀ tó fẹ́ mú wá kí láǹfààní tó wà lórí ní pé kéèyàn sọ èdè ara ẹ̀ kó fi control economy ẹ̀ geography lédè Yorùbá chemistry lédè Yorùbá physics lédè Yorùbá biology lédè Yorùbá kí làwọn àǹfààní tá a máa derive ń bẹ̀ asára àwọn country kọ̀ọ̀kan tí ò tó wa kò yí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹlòmíràn sọ pé ní òmìnira kítúnù ń bò látún lọ ṣé bí Nàìjíríà láti wà láti ilẹ̀ wá ńgbà tí ò yé wọn a rí àgbàlagbà tó fẹnu sọ yí pé ní nísìnyí ńgbà tẹ́ sọ pé ẹ̀ ń fòmìnira àgbàlagbà ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó nígbà tẹ́ lẹ́ ń fòmìnira ó ní níbo lẹ fẹ́ kí Ìgbò kó àwọn spare part rẹ̀ lọ ẹni tó ti lọ fẹ́ Ìgbò nínú Yorùbá ṣé kó léyàwó ẹ̀ dànù ni ẹ gbọ́ gbólóhùn tó ń sọ ńgbà tí ò yé àgbàlagbà ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ ó ti gbàgbé pé ní ara àwọn èèyàn tó ń fẹ́ àwọn German àrí Yorùbá tó fọ́mọ Amẹ́ríkà àbí òsì ni so nídìí eléyìí adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run pé economy Nàìjíríà nísìn ó ti ń bounce back kò disturb pé ń tàwa ń ṣe ó ń bounce back nítorí pé kí ni àwọn problems tó wà ńlẹ̀ wọ́n ti ń resolve àwọn wo ló wà nípa the rule change adaran ni more over 4,000 bureau de change has been deregistered ẹ dákun tó wá pé ní adaran ló wà ń bẹ̀ ǹjọ́ ṣeéṣe ó lè ṣeéṣe.
Thank you. Alagba Citizen AY. You are a broadcaster, you are a journalist, you are information carrier. You've been involved in this business for a long time,
Yes,
and I know exactly part of what you stand for. I also know that you are not one of these warmonger. I want to Yoruba
no.
by, and because I have said it many times, it's a political process, and I'm happy we're all here tonight to talk about things like this. I think by Yoruba Nation, and like my very good friend Dr. Janet will say, I think by Yoruba Nation, it's a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yes, sir.
No, it's a sprint.
Kì í ṣe sprint marathon ni bẹ́ẹ̀ sir.
Ó tiẹ̀ ti di cross country gan báyìí.
Ẹ parí ó ti di cross country.
From experience, àwọn kankan wà tó yẹ pé àwọn science we call it age ẹ lè ra experience ni you gather it together and with different kind of area of studies gbogbo aláàtìrí àwọn ní 70-80 àwọn ní 75 years wà ní ìdí táwọn wéyò oní 28 years wà oní 15 years wà oní 30 oríṣiríṣi different ages ni but àwọn èèyàn wa they need to understand what it's all about now kini but as Madam Dr. Janet Fashakin said as we speak Nigeria la ṣe wà ilé wa ọ̀nà wa oúnjẹ wa security wa àwọn ọmọ wa àwọn family wa Nigeria ṣì ni and we need to be practical we need to be realistic we need to let other people understand pé ọ̀nà owó kan òdòwò kankan lọ́nà because as far as I'm concerned that ẹnìkan lọ try láti fẹ́ strike it lucky tí ó fẹ́ gba ìjọ nǹkan kan mẹ́rin kò dá wa because that is bóun ṣe ṣú sí ti ẹni yẹn one thing no government anywhere in the whole world only stop òun ni freedom of speech freedom of assembly freedom of association and so on and so forth so movement will continue to go but as we speak Alagba AY citizen AY kí lẹ rí sí present governance Bola Ahmed Tinubu then we go to the next question.
Ẹ ṣeun sir màá ṣe ń ṣókí màá gbìyànjú mo lè sọ Yorùbá pẹ̀lú èèbó mo lè dàpọ̀ okay let me just say it in English for a little bit my sense of Tinubu government is I'm viewing it from a pragmatic point of view. For me, it's very much a means to an end. Like Dr. Janet Fashakin said, the government is the government of the day. Whatever interaction we want to do on Yoruba land has to go through that government. That means we have to interact with that government. And when we are trying to get something, we have to work with what is on ground. There is no doubt there is a clear intention by the government to improve the lot of the people on ground, be it Yoruba, be it Igbo. There is a clear intent. However, one cannot ignore what has gone before because the previous government and this government are both the same party, APC. But having said that, I'm going to give kudos to the government on one thing. And the third mainland bridge, now it's up and running. They fixed it. Great. I'm just saying kudos for a brief moment. And of course, I add that it is important for every government to know that they are responsible for the infrastructure for the people. So when we say kudos, we're not saying it to say, oh, you are doing us a favor. You are doing what you're meant to do, and you need to be doing more of it. So that's where I'm coming from when I'm talking about the government of the day. Now, I know they're trying to do some stuff in terms of the currency exchange issue, the Naira fluctuating up, hitting almost 2,000. They brought it down. But the manner in which they're doing it is not sustainable. We can go into details about how they can actually do that. And I think they have to do a radical approach, as suggested by San Femi Falana, looking at adopting the BRICS approach and actually going forward with that full steam ahead to be able to be in full control of our own commodities on our soil. Tagging ourselves to the dollar is actually very, very destructive for our economy. We become a beggar nation, chasing other people's currencies, spending our own money to maintain that process. It's ridiculous. So I have issues with that. But anyway, So for me, overall, I think, yeah, let's look at it from that point of view. Yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. But in terms of now, let me just quickly touch on the Yoruba Nation side of things. Very much like Dr. Janet Fashakin said, Barrister Dr. Janet Fashakin said, we have to operate on parallel lines purely for pragmatic reasons. For me, at this point, I don't subscribe to Onitiri branch of, we're going to go and fight for this. We're going to go and we declare. It's nonsense. You cannot declare anything. And I do not believe we can use violent means to achieve our aims in the long term. And we have to borrow from the likes of SNP in Scotland. In Scotland, we had this. Scotland had this. The way they went and approached it, the Scottish National Party. It took them over 70 years to get to a place where they had a devolved government. And I'm afraid, I know it sounds bitter. It sounds, far-fetched. But I think we need to look at things from that point of view. Now, if we get there sooner, nothing wrong with that. But have it in our mindset that it may well be that we may have to go via the devolution, restructuring to where the point of regional governance, and then ultimately Yoruba Nation. For me, I am clear. I want Yoruba Nation, and that is the ultimate goal. So I'll stop there for now. Thank you very much, Saisho.
Thank you. Fashakin, from our interaction ever since we reconnected, I've noted that in my mind that the level of your passion, the amount of vigor, the amount of energy you have brought into this journey, into this campaign, no doubt about it that you want Yoruba Nation now. But let us look at the mechanism. Let us look at the technicalities and so on and so forth. You and I will agree that to get Yoruba Nation, we are there's a process and procedure. Now, in a very short way of bringing things together, we have also said we are still in Nigeria. Here, the security of Nigeria should concern you and I. The economy of Nigeria should still concern you and I, because in the process, àwọn èèyàn wá sì wà ń bẹ̀. Àwọn ọmọ wa, like I said, economy ìlú yẹn ó máa affect wọn. Energy ìlú yẹn tí wọ́n wà bákan máa gbogbo ẹ̀ àti corruption àti gbọ́ oríṣiríṣi ló affect àwọn èèyàn wa. But I want you to look at the camera and say to our people, how quickly do you think, judging from your passion, judging from all you are putting and you still want to put in and you will continue to put in, is this something you think is visible within a short period of time? And if so, àwọn ọ̀nà wo là ń láti gbígbà tó máa jẹ́ tó máa lè accelerate tó máa lè jẹ́ kó yá ju, well, it's okay. I don't want to compare PLO 70 years. I don't want to compare Wales and Scotland and so on and so forth. But tell our viewers, how do you think Yoruba Nation àti báwo la ṣe tó máa quicker?
Okay. Thank you very much. I know I'm probably a minority on this platform, but I've been a minority practically all my life. No. In our concept, no. Let me finish. In our view of how we should go about things. Mm-hmm. Now, the idea that you will give us some crumbs and that we should thank God that we've got some crumbs. What Awolowo gave us, I'm one of the, what do you call it? The first Awolowo children. Those of us who started primary school in 1955. I actually started in 1954. But then in 1955, free primary education started. And I was one of the first to have that free primary education. And even when I was living in Ethiopia in the 50s, life was better for people then. Even though they were poor, they were not hopeless. So the idea that, they should give us some crumbs, we should be grateful, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I cannot see anything that prevents us from leaving Nigeria where we have been for over 100 years. It has not done us any good.
Baba
And
ṣe
I don't know.
I want you to tell.
I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So we've had 100 years of this slow, and it's not a few years, it's 100 years. I mean, the Conference of Obas was set up in 1931. Nigeria. 1930. So it's not a new thing. And what I'm going to do is give you comparisons. When the Arewa states wanted to exercise their self-determination by instituting the Sharia criminal law, they did it. Even though everybody was saying this, that, and the other, they did it because their leaders had bottle. In Yoruba land, we have toothless tigers. That's what we've got. If today the Conference of Obas say we declare Yoruba nation, we will be gone. We will be gone. But we have toothless tigers. And the same happens to us who are educated elites, political elites. We always have an excuse for not going. We always have an excuse for not going. Until somebody has the bottle of leadership and says, today we go, we will never go anywhere. Don't deceive yourself that, oh, well, who are you negotiating with? How are you going to get out of Nigeria?
Tony, can you be the person to lead that movement? Say,
I don't have any following. I'm not. As I said, I will tell you what I am doing at the minute. I'm not that kind of leadership, but I can tell you what I'm doing at the minute. In February of this year, I formed a political party in the UK, and I'm saying this publicly for the first time. It's called the Yoruba Party in the UK, YPUK, which is registered with the Electoral Commission, and I expect as soon as I start rolling this out publicly, that we'll be able to field candidates for election in the UK. There are 120,000 of us, at least in London, the same as the number of Jews. You couldn't say anything against Jews in this country without getting your head blown off. You can say anything you like about black people. Nobody gives a toss because we have no political power. That's got to stop. The idea that we will be pussyfooting around, which is what we do all the time, we pussyfoot. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of another thing that I tried. When I was in Nigeria last October, I tried to take the federal government to court. I spoke to a lawyer. Everything was nice and dandy whilst I was in Nigeria. Came back to the UK. That was the last I heard of him.
What went wrong?
I don't know. But I mean, 2 days we had conferences. We discussed how we are going to go to court, what we are going to be talking about. Because part of the idea was that if you went to court and the federal government has to defend why the Yoruba have to remain in Nigeria. Nothing happened. So what I'm trying to say to you is this. The idea that you are going to get Yoruba nation by pussyfooting around and say, oh, well, Tinubu is doing very well, they give us crumbs. You will never get anywhere.
No,
if you say you want to negotiate with him and he says no, what are you going to do?
No, and look, negotiation with the president of Nigeria, I think, is like playing with a child. Because the truth of the matter, anybody that emerges as a president of Nigeria will have signed that he will be president of 200 million Nigerians, not Yoruba. not Hausa, not Takwa, not Brom, not Ijo, whatever people. Let's be
And
realistic.
again, I don't think that is relevant.
It is because
if
Dr. Janet Fashakin said, here we have a situation that we can know, and truly and honestly, I know Bola Ahmed, he's not going to say as a Democrat that Nigeria must by force remain in Nigeria, that they have no right to talk. Nobody says
look,
as we speak. But let me just come from the north.
Let me just finish. Let me just put in something here. Havek resigned as president of Czechoslovakia when the leaders of the Czech Republic and Slovakia said they wanted to go. And he said, as president, he didn't want to see his country divided, so he resigned. Tinubu doesn't have to stay as president. He's not forced to do it. If the Yoruba want to leave, I mean, I have some difficulty understanding why we have to remain in Nigeria. I'm prepared to be convinced, and I'm prepared tonight to be convinced.
May I ask a question? I guess what Otunba is asking is this: what mechanism do we have to actually? I agree with you. I want Yoruba Nation yesterday, but we now have to look at mechanisms. It's not about pandering to music and shouting, but the actual mechanism to get us from where we are to where we want to go, to begin that process. Please, could you shed some light on that? That would be good. Thank you.
Okay. Two things. The first is what I said earlier on. The Conference of Obas, like they did like it started in 1931. The Obas, if they come together, have a Conference of Obas, they can declare emancipation of Yoruba land today.
All right.
So that's one. That's you asked me. The second one, you will not be surprised, is I think we need to go to the law. I mean, we need to take this matter to court to have it decided one way or the other.
Luckily, we have another lawyer in the house. Let me sample opinion of. I'll come back to you, Alagba and Citizen. Dr. Janet, you just had what? Because my worries is my worries has always been: are we doing the proper thing? Are we doing this business of this campaign? Are we following it up properly? Are we doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing? When you and I, 3 years ago or whatever, agreed that this business is a political process, which you have plan B. But let me have a word response to what Dr. One is saying. We can't hear you. I think you are muted.
For giving me that opportunity to say something. Mori gbogbo passion bàbá wa. Left to Baba Fashakin. Ó yẹ ká ti gba Yorùbá Nation gan ní last week. What is that? I see the effort of people like him, like Baba Akintoye, like Igbo, like many people. But then I'm also concerned about Kilashele Day from point A to point B. Has always been my question from the beginning. How do we go from point A to point B? And your question to Baba wa Citizen, why will be my question. Kini plan? Because just saying it for the next 100 years, Yoruba Nation. That will not give us Yoruba Nation. Peacefully. Okay? Ẹ ti fún wa example kan Czechoslovakia gbà tán pín sí méjì peacefully ni wọ́n ṣe. Bẹ̀ẹ̀ta tún rí ti Gaza náà báyìí lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Táláwọn náà fẹ́ gba òmìnira tara tiwọn kan jẹ́ káwọn dá dúró káwọn ní nation tiwọn. We see the carnage every minute. We can't say every day, every minute. And those are people tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n láwọn èèyàn lẹ́yìn gidigidi. The Islamic world is solidly behind them. And yet, mo rò pé wọ́n ti ń ja ogun yìí báyìí tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lójú wa ń bí yìí láìpẹ́
around
yìí.
70 years roughly.
èyí tó ń ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí gan sìn báyìí àti mọye days tó ti lọ lórí ẹ̀. àwa ò fẹ́ jagun, àwọn tó fẹ́ jagun ti jáde, àwọn onítìrí tí wọ́n rò pé bóyá wọ́n lè fi jagunjagun wọ́n lè fi gbà á. All right, ṣé tá a bá ṣe sùúrù yìí tí a dákẹ́, tí èmi wà nínú àwọn tó ń gba àdúrà lójoojúmọ́ ní tèmi náà fún Yorùbá nation yìí lójoojúmọ́, every day la meet about 20 to 30 people nínú ìjàngbara yìí every day la meet on the Zoom tá a dẹ̀ ń gba àdúrà. ṣùgbọ́n mò ń bọ̀ wá ń gbà mí Olúwa, ó lè jẹ́ 1000 years, ó dẹ̀ lè jẹ́ overnight, it can be, but kí ni èmi ìgbà kan wà tẹ́mi believe pé ṣebí 100 years ti kọjá tá a sign fún, ẹni tó bá ti kọjá let's get out, kò sí jà ń bẹ, ipa ò rajà ipa ò tà. 100 days àbí 100 years amalgamation ó ti wá ó ti lọ, then let's just bóyá ká wá ìlú ibòmíì tí gbogbo wa kàn máa migrate lọ, ṣèbí tá a bá láàbá wọn jà tá a lè gbéra pé ẹ jẹ́ ká pàdé níbi báyìí o, ilẹ̀ tá a rà rè o, you know, let's go there o, ká lọ pàdé ara wa. èmi bá ti walk out of Nigeria, wọn ṣáà lè sọ pé ká má lọ síbi tó bá wù wá, inú Nàìjíríà náà lè ní pé ká má ti lè ṣe nǹkan tó yà bá fẹ́, pé constitution wọn ó tún ti against the constitution of the world nípa ìjàngbara, pé sí táwọn ò ti fi sínú ẹ̀ yẹn ó ti superior sí kinní kankan, gbogbo ọgbọ́n jìbìtì yẹn náà ni wọ́n mọ̀ tí wọ́n ti dá. so bóyá yẹn la máa ṣe pé ká wá ibì kan tí ó jẹ́ bí ilẹ̀ ọlọ́ràá tí ó kì í ṣe tó jáde jù tó dẹ̀ jẹ́lé ọlọ́ràá, ká dẹ̀ sọ pé gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ bá bìlífù nínú ìjàngbara Yorùbá yìí o, ẹ jẹ́ àpàdé ń bí yìí, ká dẹ̀ lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìlú tiwa ń bẹ̀, maybe ìyẹn máa jẹ́ peacefully, maybe that will be it. Otherwise mi ò mọ peacefully tí ó lè jẹ́ if we are really serious about living this contraption called Nigeria, because a lè sọ pé ọmọ wa ní Tinubu, it is true. bó bá jẹ́ kan nínú wa náà ni wọ́n bá gbé síbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ president, he will not want to be a president of a divided nation, àfi tó bá fẹ́ pé òun fẹ́ resign bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ tí Tinubu bá resign lénìí tó bá nítorí pé òun fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà pín ṣùgbọ́n àwọn kan ò fẹ́ kó pín, kó wá kúrò ń bẹ̀ lénìí, ṣé ìyẹn máa pín Nàìjíríà? because pé Tinubu resign yẹn ṣé wọ́n á wá lè pín, pé kó ní kálukú máa lọ pé torí Tinubu ni deciding factor tó dẹ̀ ti kúrò yẹn o, ẹjẹ́ àgé sí méjì bí òrombo, ẹjẹ́ àmọ̀bẹ̀ ká fi dúnbò ẹ̀ kò ní káwọn kan dúró lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ kan káwọn kan dúró ní side yẹn. So I'm still trying to figure out, and why I'm saying this again is because ìgbà tẹ́mi join ìjàngbara yìí ní 2019, ohun tí à ń jà fún gbà yẹn was restructuring, but today we don't want restructuring, we just want Yorùbá nation. èmi dẹ̀ máa ń rò wípé ebi ẹ̀ṣọ́ mi lèèyàn ń tẹ̀ kó tó tẹ yanrìn, àbí yanrìn lèèyàn ń tẹ̀ kó tó tẹ omi.
omi ni àkọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ ká tó tẹ yanrìn.
ẹ̀mí kìíní sísàì tó wà lọ́dọ̀ tiwa yìí orí yanrìn làwa máa ń gbàdé ní omi.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni omi la bá tẹ̀lé ká tó tẹ yanrìn, bẹ́ẹ̀ni ma.
àti máa ní yanrìn bí almost 1 mile gan ká dédé ibi tó mi wà, ní ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ń bí mi ò mọ ti Nàìjíríà. so ni mo ṣe ń wò pé Nàìjíríà ní omi náà ń tẹ̀ kan tó tẹ yanrìn, ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ń bí yanrìn lákọ́kọ́ ń tẹ̀ ká tó tẹ omi. and so bóyá ká tún ro restructuring yẹn, because in a way what restructuring can do is to give us a semi-autonomy ní sáìdì tiwa, pé ok bó ṣe wà ní táìmù àwọn bàbá Awólọ́wọ̀ kí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó dàrú, pé ní sáìdì tiwa o a máa lè ní control over school àwọn ọmọ wa, a máa lè ní control over agriculture kìíní wa, a máa lè ní control even over jíjẹ mímu wa, àwọn nǹkan míì tá a fẹ́ ṣe. Then there will be a center tó máa jẹ́ federal, just the way it is in America. New York is autonomous, New Jersey is autonomous, all the 50 states are in a way autonomous, but at the same time federally situated. New York ní òfin tiẹ̀ tí ò kì í ṣe federal law, tí federal ò lè ṣe nǹkan kan sí tó máa ti sọ wípé that's what the New York says, that's what we go by because we are in New York. Tá a bá wá kúrò ní New York o, tá a lọ sí New Jersey o, pé nǹkan kan dà wá pọ̀, then we'll be talking about federal law níbi tó ti rí fọgbọ́n join ní wa nǹkan kan, and we are coexisting peacefully. Maybe we should start thinking about that as a plan B because I'm a proponent of plan B. Téèyàn bá kọ́lé tó yọ ojú ọ̀nà síbẹ̀ pé ibi tí gbogbo ayé máa gbà wọlé rèé, á tún nìkan lẹ́yìn kùnlé tó jẹ́ pé tí àwọn jagunjagun àkínná pè wọ́n àwọn Fúlàní
àwọn tálíkà
á lè rí bí bá jáde lẹ́yìn kùnlé.
Nígbà tí kinní ọ̀hún bá dojú.
Plan B ká kàn dúró lórí ẹyọ kan yìí ká máa máa jẹ pé it is Yorùbá nation or nothing. Ó máa mo rò pé ó máa pẹ́ wá díẹ̀.
Dr. Janet,
on the question of restructuring,
I will come to that.
We had this structure before. In fact, when I wrote to Tinubu about this not too long ago, that Nigeria has 3 owners: the Western region, the Eastern region, and the Northern region. And that is the essence of the 1963 Republican Constitution, that the country, that land, Nigeria, is actually owned. This is not, because these were the 3 groups that sat together to have a contract amongst themselves for a Republican country. That contract is the 1963 Constitution.
Okay.
And there is no constitutional way in which anybody could take the ownership of Nigeria from those 3 regions. So when people talk about restructuring, we should just say point blank, straight away, that what we are talking about is Western region, Eastern region, and Northern region. Those are the 3 owners of Nigeria.
Okay. Baba Aliyu, unmute yourself, please. Baba Aliyu, I mean, again, I try as a conductor of this show, as a presenter, not to voice too much of my own opinion, but do not forget that I'm a political and public affairs commentator. I'm a political scientist. I'm also in the business of want to do everything possible to get Nigeria. But one thing I cannot run away from, reality. The reality of this business is we need to follow a procedure. We are not following that procedure. And we can make so much emotion out of everything. But so amount to a side effect of what we are not doing. And for me, I still believe that, yes, Tinubu, whoever is there, we need to make a concrete proposal, an arrangement that we can push to the middle of the sea at the bossy arrangement. As it is, faction here, faction there, opinion here, 300 years ago, 100 years ago. Baba Aliyu, what's your take on this? How do we go about this? Because we have been talking and talking. Looks like Jano.
Yes, you. Sorry, ẹni tó bá gbélé Yorùbá àbí tó ń lọ sílé dáadáa, ó máa rí i pé pípèpè fún òmìnira tá à ń darúkú tá à ń sọ pé à ń fẹ́, mo sì ń tẹnu mọ́ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa ń tà ń sọ yìí kò yé wọn. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa míì ń bẹ tó yẹ pé ní wọ́n ń pariwo, kódà nínú àwọn tó ń pariwo Yorùbá nation, majority gan ni òye aláfẹ́ dá dúró ní níta àtijọ́ wà papọ̀ tó ti lé lọ́gọ́rùn-ún ọdún, tó yẹ pé ní majority gan ìgbàgbọ́ wọn ni pé Ọlọ́run gan ló dá Nàìjíríà. Tá a sì wò ó pé ní àwọn ọba wa, àwọn olóṣèlú wa, àwọn religious leader wa, àwọn náà ní ipa tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ kó, àbí tá a bá fẹ́ parọ́ tàn wá lókun, wọ́n ní ipa tí wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ kó lórí níta aláǹfẹ́ yìí. Ṣùgbọ́n n tó lè mú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, n tó lè mú yá, òun náà ni pé ní kí ará ilé kó support. A sọ pé bí a ká níbi 80%, ká níbi kódà bó ṣe nǹkan bí 30% la bá níní, ó tó. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí majority wọn ò yà sí ní tá à ń pariwo, then aláǹfẹ́ òmìnira, we have our own internal problem. Tó yẹ pé tó yẹ ká kọ́kọ́ gbára wálẹ̀, problem ni tó ní agbára àyà sí. Ó dà gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé wọ́n máa ń pa òwe kan, wọ́n sọ pé ní wọ́n fi ọ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ kíní kan wọ́n ń pa làpálàpá. Internal problem wa sá sọ́fẹ̀. Kí ni internal problem wa? Àkọ́kọ́, nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn àjèjì ń gba gbogbo ilẹ̀ wa. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn àjèjì ń control gbogbo economic activity wa. Nílẹ̀ Yorùbá gbogbo ministry ni gbogbo ministry parastatals ibẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀tì máa rí àwọn àjèjì níbẹ̀. Ẹ bá lọ sílẹ̀ Ìgbò kò lè rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ lọ sí Ondo state ẹ lọ wo ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ńbẹ̀. Ní local government ẹ máa bá Ìgbò ńbẹ̀. Láwọn ministry ẹ máa bá Ìgbò ńbẹ̀. Ẹ gba òmìnira lórí ìyẹn, ẹ wá solution sórí ìyẹn náà. Ó di méní. Ní Lagos state bàbá Tinubu àwọn gangan ló contribute ìfàsẹ́yìn fún Yorùbá lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ látara pé his own selfish interest kó fi lè ní support. And I believe he has learnt his lesson because Igbo disappointed him. Gbogbo wọn ṣe fún àwọn Igbo ní avalanche of opportunity lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ náà wọn ò ká kún. Ó ń yẹ àwọn ará òkè ọ̀yà lẹ́nu tó máa ń gbọ́ tó máa sọ wípé ní Lagos is no man's land. Nísìn agenda kan bẹ táwọn àwọn ọmọ àjòkúta mọ́mọ́ yẹn tó ń gbé síta nísìn. Agenda kí ni? Agenda pé ní kán cancel state of origin. Torí pé ìlú tí wọn ò ṣe é gbé. Erosion ó ti bà gbogbo ìlú wọn jẹ́. The entire southeast is 29,000 square kilometer. Tó jẹ́ pé òun pẹ̀lú Ìbàdàn Ọ̀yọ́ state lásán òun pẹ̀lú Ọ̀yọ́ state wọ́n ti fẹ́ di bákan náà. Ọ̀yọ́ state 28,000 gbogbo east pápátá 29,000. Ẹ wo orú erosion tó ń dààmú wọn ò nílẹ̀ èmi ọmọ báwọn pípẹ́ yẹn ṣe fẹ́ survive. So kí wọ́n á ní problem tuntun akíní tó yẹ ká kọ́kọ́ ṣe bàálà ń fẹ́ òmìnira ẹja kọ́kọ́ sí òmìnira tilé ná. Kí lómìnira tilé? A sọ pé ká dúró dèjọba. Èmi ò sọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ mi pé kí n sọ pé Tinubu yóò bá gba Yorùbá nation. No, kò lè support ẹ̀ láéláé torí pé kí ni àwọn ìyẹn ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ló bá. So tọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà bá kí ni tó yẹ káwọ́ ó ṣe ó ní pé irú ọgbọ́n wo la lè dá ta fi lè táàpù àwọn tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa ó ní ọ̀rọ̀ tó ní security dé tí mo sọ yìí pé kí àwọn àgbààgbà wa kán kóra pọ̀ àtọba ní àtijọ́yè ní kán lọ máa kànlẹ̀kùn sí i lórí pé àwé bó o tiẹ̀ achieve nǹkan kan bó o tiẹ̀ ṣe pé kíní kankan ìwọ ṣe ń tó yẹ pé ní àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ò ní gbàgbé rẹ torí Ọbásanjọ́ àárín nǹkan tó ṣe fún Yorùbá tẹ́ bá wo gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ẹ̀gan ọmọ Ìgbò ló kó síbẹ̀ bámú àtàwọn ará òkè ọ̀yà kò sọ́mọ Yorùbá ń bẹ̀ kọ́ máa kanlẹ̀kùn kọ́ máa lugo sí létí pé má gbàgbé o ilé láàbọ̀ sinmi oko ilé láàbọ̀ sinmi oko ó wà lára àwọn onídàdẹ́kò ó wà lára àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re ó wà lára àwọn Alliance for Democracy ó sì gbọ́ ń tẹ́ǹjú gbogbo yín lẹ́lẹ́ ẹjọ́ ń parí pé ní ẹ̀ ń fẹ́ restructuring. Mo láìkí báwọn sísá bọ́n ṣe bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ tán lẹ́ẹ̀kan tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé ìkan lè ó kọ́kọ́ yanjú ká tó bọ́ sí mi. Àwọn ọmọ mi wa tó ń sọ pé ní àkọ́kọ́ yanjú kan wọ́n ní omi lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ ká tó tan yẹn rìn àbí yẹn yes so ibi tí mò ń lọ ni pé àbí yẹn nìkan lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ tẹ̀ ká tó tẹ omi ó ní pé ní kò mí ní pé n tà ń fẹ́ ipe ká mọ́ continue ṣùgbọ́n àwọn problems ilé ẹjẹ́ ká solve kí ni problems ilé ọ̀rọ̀ security yìí ká continue láti máa push kí yẹn ṣe é ṣe ó di méní kí lẹ́lẹ́kejì how can we occupy our space? I am not saying that pé kí gbogbo ẹni tó wà ní diaspora kan máa bọ̀ wá lé no we can control our economy through what? Through establishment of industry companies nílẹ̀ Yorùbá láì ṣe pé gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ti ní tiwantiwa ara òmìnira náà nìyẹn that is to say irú tá a bá sọ pé tá a bá ní diaspora investment tá a bá fẹ́ fi Yorùbá nation kú diaspora investment àbí kìíní kan something diaspora investment tó wà tó yẹ pé ní gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó wà káàkiri lókè ọ̀yà nílé lóko labroad tí gbogbo onítọrọ kọ́bọ̀ gbogbo businesses táwọn Ìgbò yẹn ń ṣe ẹ rí i pé nísìn Okonjo ìwé alami ò mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ti wo fídíò yẹn kí ló ń pèpè fún ó ń pèpè fún kí ni pé kí Ìgbò padà lọ lé kan lọ develop ìlú wọn n tó ń pariwo nìyẹn o àwọn Ìgbò ló ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ ó ń bá àwọn ọmọ Ìgbò tó wà ní diaspora n tó ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ nìyẹn.
ẹ ṣe Alagba is citizen AY.
Can I just respond to? I'm sorry. I just want to respond to this. People in diaspora should come and invest in Yoruba land.
Just 1 second.
No, it won't be. I wouldn't be long. I won't be long. Okay, I bought land for farming. You can't get anybody to go and do the work. I bought land for farming. I was even prepared for them to use the thing to feed themselves, because I don't need the money. The idea that, and I know others who have spent money and have just wasted their money. So the idea that we are going to then, I will take my money to go. Even when I go and do medical outreach, how many people do you think support you? So this idea that we are all going to go home and set up there are many people who have done that and it has failed. And I speak from my experience. I have a land that is just fallow because we can't get anybody to work. When you give them money, tomorrow they'll say the child is sick, the wife has left me, my mother has died. And they keep asking you for money, and they are not doing any work at all.
I think all that can be related to aspect of corruption, which is so endemic in everywhere, whatever. But citizen AY, for me, again, like I said, as an analyst, Tinubu or no Tinubu, it's a win-win situation for Yoruba.
Yes.
We need to tap into that. How do we win? How do we win is part of what one of the panelists here said. We need to work towards it. But I just discovered that we do more talking, more analysis, more possibilities using different. But we are not really active. We are not really going to look at the what is going on in Catalonia, in Spain or whatever, and some other area, or in Sri Lanka, in other places like people actively engage. We are not engaging the government. There are a lot of moderates. There are many moderates. So enough. And I say it with full of authority. We are not engaging. Alagba City, what do we do? Say to the world, because I can sọ̀rọ̀ ni ọ̀rọ̀ yìí la máa sọ títí a sọ 8 years lọ Tinubu náà wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tá believe náà 8 years á lọ ẹlòmíì àti kí ni a fẹ́ ṣe a dẹ̀ ti agree majority do not want to fight o èmi gangan and my friend said pé he's a pacifist. I'm also one because I don't believe in shedding blood of anybody.
Okay.
What do we do? Talk straight to us because that's your program. Talk straight to the what do we do to get out of to get started? Because we are not yet started.
Ẹ ṣeun gan-an. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín sà, ẹ ṣeun. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe wo ọ̀rọ̀ yìí, àwọn àgbà máa ń sọ kinní kan yẹn, àgbà náà lè máa ń sọ, wọ́n ní ọbẹ̀ ti di àtúnṣe, iyán ti di àtúngún, ibi tá a wà nìyẹn o, ibi tá a wà nìyẹn, tòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ọbẹ̀ nìyẹn. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ní ọwọ́ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ jàǹgbara wa láti bẹ̀rẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wọn. Afẹ́nifẹ́re láti wà nú ọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ má bínú, àwọn kan lè má gba nǹkan tí mo sọ yìí o, ẹ má gbà sódì ẹjọ́ o. Afẹ́nifẹ́re láti wà ń bẹ̀. Ìlànà láti wà ń bẹ̀. Gbogbo àwa tá nígbàgbọ́ nú pé ọ̀rọ̀ òmìnira. Àmọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ wa ń sìn, ẹ jẹ́ kó yé wa pé òmìnira ni gbogbo wa fẹ́. Àti ilé gbà ń sìn, ẹ má jẹ́ ká tanra wa. Kò sáyè ẹ̀. N tí mo dẹ̀ fẹ́ fàyọ ń sìn tó ṣe kókó fún àwa Yorùbá. Ṣé rí ẹni tó wà ń bẹ̀ ń sìn? Ṣé bí Yorùbá ni? Ṣé bọ́mọ Yorùbá ni Tinubu? Kò sáà lè ṣe kó wá kọ̀yìn sí àwọn ará àti ẹ̀. Kò dẹ̀ lè fi gbogbo ara hàn pé nǹkan báyìí lòun fẹ́ ṣe. Torí náà, tá bá tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń bẹ̀ sí ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé òun náà wà nù Afẹ́nifẹ́re. Màá sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn o. Ó wà nù Afẹ́nifẹ́re. Àwọn Afẹ́nifẹ́re dẹ̀ lè bá sọ̀rọ̀. ibi tá a wà ń sìn aláti bá àwọn èèyàn wa sọ̀rọ̀ ká bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ gidi ibi tá a wà rèé sìn ẹ jẹ́ kí n ṣàlàyé báyìí lójú tèmi ò lọ́gbọ́n ọmọdé tèmi ibi tá a wà ń sìn ni pé àti ìgbà òmìnira a sì wà nínú Nàìjíríà ìyẹn ní kò sáàríyànjiyàn ìkejì ọ̀nà wo la fẹ́ gba òmìnira yìí kò ń ṣe mọ́ínmọ́ín àkàn lè dìde láàárọ̀ ká kọ̀wé ká sọ pé a ti di Yorùbá a ti pín kò ṣeé ṣe kò sí ọ̀nà àbáyọ nínú ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn aláti sọ ọ̀rọ̀ yìí débẹ̀ àwọn nǹkan tá a bá lè rí mú lò ní ọwọ́ ìjọba ń sìn láti fi ṣe ìrànlọ́wọ́ fún nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe ẹ jẹ́ ká mú lò ọ̀rọ̀ kan tí mo lè máa fẹ́ sáàárín ẹ̀ tí mo rò pé gbogbo wa tó yẹ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wò ó sìn ṣe rí àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ wa àwọn ìbílẹ̀ wa àtàwọn ìpínlẹ̀ wa aláti ṣe àwọn ìsọjí àwọn ètò ìsọjí fún àwọn èèyàn wa láti mọ ẹ̀tọ́ wọn nínú ìlú tá a wà ní Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí ẹ má ṣì mí gbọ́ ó wù mí ká wà nínú Yorùbá nation àmọ́ inú Nàìjíríà la wà n ta máa láti ṣe ni pé ká kọ́ wọn ní àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ méjì báyìí èmi ti túmọ̀ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ constitution yẹn sí èdè Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ méjì báyìí mo fẹ́ ká kọ́ àwọn èèyàn wa àkọ́kọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá mọ constitution section 14(2)(a) èmi túmọ̀ ẹ̀ sí Yorùbá ó wà lórí website mi section 14(2)(a) ó lọ báyìí ìjọba jẹ́ ti àwọn ènìyàn Nàìjíríà láti ọ̀dọ̀ ẹni tí ìjọba nípasẹ̀ òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ń gba gbogbo agbára àti àṣẹ rẹ̀ ìyẹn ní àwọn màmá wa lọ́jà wọn ò mọ̀ kíní yìí àwọn àgbẹ̀ wọn ò mọ̀ àwọn ọ̀dọ́ wọn ò mọ̀ ní èdè Yorùbá ní gbogbo ìpínlẹ̀ wa ara nǹkan tó yẹ ká kọ́kọ́ kọ́ wọn nìyẹn ìyẹn àkọ́kọ́ wọ́n á mọ̀ pé àwọn ní àṣẹ àti agbára lórí àwọn òṣèlú wọn ò mọ̀ ń sìn nǹkan tó yẹ ká kọ́kọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú nìyẹn ìkejì section 14(2)(c) ó lọ báyìí ó ní ìkópa àwọn ènìyàn nínú ìjọba wọn gbọ́dọ̀ rí dájú ní ìbámu pẹ̀lú àwọn òfin orílẹ̀-èdè yìí ìyẹn ìtumọ̀ yẹn ni pé àwa ọmọ ìlú a ní àṣẹ láti kópa nínú ìjọba báwo la ṣe lè kópa nínú ìjọba òun ni ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní béèrè àwọn ẹ̀tọ́ wa local government aṣojú ìpínlẹ̀ aṣojú ìbílẹ̀ ẹ wá ṣàlàyé o èèlò ló ń fún yín lóṣooṣù fún títì wa iná omi èèlò lẹ ná àwọn wo ni contractor èèlò ló ṣẹ́kù ìpàdé àdúgbò lóṣooṣù ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní kọ́ àwọn èèyàn wa kán lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní dìde fẹ́tọ̀ wọn àwa táwa lókè òkun a lè dá ṣe kínní yìí wọ́n láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ nínú ilé díẹ̀ ó wà lára àwọn nǹkan tá a máa ṣe lẹ́yìn yẹn àwa mú ọ̀rọ̀ àwa tí àwọn èèyàn bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbégbèsè yẹn àwa lè wá wo ọ̀rọ̀ devolution of powers tẹ bá ń sọ pé devolution táwọn èèyàn wa ọmọ túmọ̀ nǹkan tó ń sọ tẹ́ pé èèbó nìkan ń gbọ́ wọn ò ní dá sí n tó ń jẹ wá ń yà nìyẹn àwọn èèyàn wa wọn ò mọ nǹkan tó wà nínú ìwé òfin wa ó dẹ̀ ṣe pàtàkì kan mọ̀ bàbá Aliyu mi ìmọ̀ tẹ́ bá gbọ́ ohun tí mo sọ báwo lẹ ṣe rọrọ̀ ẹ sí ní ṣókí ẹ ṣeun máa dá dúró báyìí.
Thank you. Let me quickly go to Dr. Janet. What is wrong in our Yoruba? You and I have been in this business also for some time now, and you and I believe that when Onitiri came, already that and I'm the one that stood up against. I was the leader of the media then. I stood up and said, "Clave 5 million signatures to Clave Fishy," because I knew very well that what I studied in university as a political does not include the 5 million votes. Oh my, Jackie, United Nations, can you obey? Can they get one country? Because country can possible. It has never been done. I want to be challenged. Now, having said this, kilo wrong. Pé kí àwa Yorùbá ká dá political party wálẹ̀ because tá a bá gbé kíní lọ sí House of Rep àti House of Senate, we are not going anywhere. That is the truth. A lè sọ̀rọ̀, a lè remember history 200, 300, wọ́n àwọn kí n kọ̀kọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kí ló wrong pé kí a dá plan B ká dá political party ti wálẹ̀, Dr. Janet?
Kò sí nǹkan tó wrong except pé a bá dá sílẹ̀ pẹ̀lú bí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe rí ìyá àlè mú ìnì náà ni. Because ó máa dàbí ìgbà tá a bá ní ká call for referendum right now. Tá a bá call for referendum láàárín àwọn Yorùbá gbogbo ní gbogbo ibi tí wọ́n ní wọ́n wà kán padà wálé kán wá ṣe referendum. Tí referendum dẹ̀ jẹ́ only 2 questions. Yes or no. Màá sọ fún yín pé àwọn tó máa sign no ló máa pọ̀ jù. Tán bá dẹ̀ ti ṣe yẹn, Yorùbá nation fìdí jálẹ̀ nìyẹn.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Because we have done referendum. So bí ó ṣe máa rí náà nìyẹn tá a bá sọ wípé a gbé ìgbà ìbò, torí ìbò Nàìjíríà àti ọmọdé àtàgbà àtẹni tí yà ń jẹ àtẹni tó ń fìyà jẹyàn, wọ́n ti believe wípé nothing goes for nothing. So ńgbà tí àwọn counterpart tó kù tán bá ń pín 50,000 naira, tán ń pín 100,000 naira, tán ń pín ráìsì, tán ń pín ṣúgà, tí àwa ò bá wá rí pín, ẹ má rò pé wọ́n ń bọ̀ wá vóòtì fún wa torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Wọn ò fẹ́ dé gbogbo ibẹ̀ yẹn. Bí bàbá wa ṣe sọ, ṣé education ti tó ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn èèyàn wa tí wọ́n á fi tí a mọ̀ wípé Yorùbá believe or anybody náà believe pé nǹkan tó ń bá mú lọ́wọ́ tó solid tó ń lè fọwọ́ kàn ó bẹ́tà ju nǹkan tó ń promise òun. So wọ́n máa wò wípé Nàìjíríà tí àwọn rí táwọn lè lu pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ yìí ó yàtọ̀ sí abstract tí wọ́n ń pè ní Yorùbá nation tó ń bọ̀. Àwọn kan máa wà tí wọ́n máa sọ pé tírú nǹkan tó dáa báyìí bá wà, irú nǹkan tó ní tìrí fi kó wọn jẹ nìyẹn, pé ẹ máa bọ̀, iṣẹ́ á wà, owó á wà, kò ní sí pọ́tò, ẹ̀yin lẹ́ẹ̀ máa ṣèjọba yín, ẹ máa bọ̀ báyìí o, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gba ìjọba, ká lọ da gbogbo ẹ̀rú o, nǹkan táwọn èèyàn fi tẹ̀lé nìyẹn. Kì í ṣe pé bóyá àwọn kan ní bóyá ó fóògùn mú wọn, mo ní rárá. Ìrètí wípé bóyá nǹkan máa dá a sí, ó máa bẹ́tà ju báwọn ṣe wà yìí lọ ni àwọn kan fi tẹ̀lé, àwọn kan ò tẹ̀lé torí wọ́n á sọ pé èyí tá a mú lọ́wọ́ tá à ń gé jẹ yìí ó bẹ́tà ṣe èyí tán ṣe ń promise tá a mọ̀ bóyá wọ́n máa rí gbà àbí wọn ò ní rí gbà. So for that reason, láti lè rí majority tí wọ́n máa jáde láti mass pé ká vote as Yorùbá people o, pé political party ti wá léléyìí o, ọ̀dọ̀ mi ò mọ initially we said that mi ò mọ kí ni ó wá máa jẹ́ advantage náà, mi ò rántí nǹkan tá ni ó máa jẹ́ advantage tá a bá ní political party tiwa. It doesn't, to me sir, it does not make any difference. Ohun tó make a difference ni wípé ká kọ́kọ́ agree pẹ̀lú wọn, kó pín àwọn nǹkan tó wà ńlẹ̀ yìí ná, káwa náà tiẹ̀ lè sọ wípé a ní nǹkan kan bí Yorùbá tó jẹ́ tiwa tá a lè jókòó lé lórí, tá a lè pín, tá a lè lò, tá a lè fi ṣàwọn nǹkan tá a fẹ́. Right now we have nothing. Bọ́n ní kán wá jà gan bo ní nǹkan ìjà ogun wá wà. Bó bá jówó náà ní kán gbé wá ní United Nations ń bo la ní sí, where is it? For whatever, because we are still in Nigeria, we have nothing. So tó bá jẹ́ restructuring máa fún wa ní some things better than nothing, káwa máa ti bẹ̀ wá máa plan láàárín ara wa. At least nígbà yẹn àti kóra wa jọ, yàtọ̀ sí Igbo, yàtọ̀ sí Fúlàní, àti divide, àti mọ ojú ìlà oníkálukú. So mo lè sọ wípé ẹ̀yin Fúlàní o, ẹ lè dé ibi tí a wà yìí o, ṣe mọ̀ pé ẹ ti ní tiyín even though Nàìjíríà lájọ wà o, ẹ má wá sápá ibi yìí o, iṣẹ́ tá a ṣe ń bí yìí owó ẹ̀ ti wá ní o, àti send the commission sí federal government o, àwa la ní nǹkan wá yìí o. Ẹnu wa lè kò bá á dàbí àjọ ìrékọjá àbí kí la ti lè fi wé pé we are coming home to stay together, to decide together, to factor our future by ourselves. Kò sí yẹn ń sìn yí akàn ń sọ náà ni we want Yorùbá nation, we want Yorùbá nation. Ẹ dákun ẹ jẹ́ àgbà Yorùbá nation, èmi gan fẹ́ láti last year ni mo ti fẹ́. Ẹ jọ̀wọ́, kí ni ọ̀nà tá a fi máa gbà? Ó ní mo sọ kan o, èmi sọ kan pé ẹ jẹ́ wá ibi tí aginjù bá wà tí Nàìjíríà ò lè dé. Ẹ jẹ́ kóra wa ká pàdé ńbẹ̀, èmi ó pàdé yín lọ́hùn o, bàbá bá ṣègùn á pàdé yín.
èmi ò níbi kan sá, èmi ò níbi kan sá lọ.
That is one, is a solution. It's one solution.
Okay.
Ká kóra wa kúrò ńbẹ̀, ká lọ. Bó jẹ́ pé Ghana ló máa jẹ́, bó jẹ́ pé Ethiopia tí Nàìjíríà ò ní lè náwó pé àwọn làwọn níbẹ̀. Ká dẹ̀ kóra wa lọ síbẹ̀, ká dẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nation wa. Why not?
Let me remind you of the political history of the Yoruba.
No, Fashakin, mo fọlọ́run bẹ̀ má bínú rẹ̀. Now, Baba, as you speak, there are many moderates in the north. That is the truth. Gbogbo wọn náà ẹ̀kọ́ náà sùn tán kọrí síbì kan. You and I know better than I do that many Hausas are not in tune. They are not really 100% working in tandem with the Fulanis. Even though ariwo Fulani là ń pariwo. But Baba Liu, tell our audience. Kí ni advantage àti disadvantage pé ká engage àwọn tán wà moderate? We are not talking with other people. These are things like Madam just said. Lè dá ṣe. Kí ni yìí o? Kì í ṣe ohun tá a lè dá ṣe. Baba Liu, what is wrong in engaging some of the moderates in the north? Start talking with them, because I can see some of them are saying, well, you know what, enough is enough. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí develop colony wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe nǹkan. Àwa ní kọ́kọ́ ni mo sure pé Ìjọ and many other nations in the country, they also eager, they want to go. But what stop us engaging the northerners, the moderate among them, and say, look, this is the idea. Because I argue, and I will say this to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you know what? There's nothing stopping an average, whether Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo, to say, this is a contraption. I have an idea. Let us rearrange, let us reorganize, reappraise, readdress. Like it is in America, about 51 countries or so, but even those states,
50.
50. So in America, only Kalkun Shaye now, and like also one of the panelists here said today, Kilashi Geshe Gogo Nibi 6 states. Is he leaving tomorrow? Is he going to be hunky dory? Is he going to be immediately no. Baba Liu, what's wrong in the northerners?
Ẹ ṣeun. Mo dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn mọ́mì wa, àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan bẹ tí tẹ́ sọ last àti brother wa náà Citizen AY. Ọ̀la inú.
Network.
Èmi ò fẹ́ kí. Okay, ẹ ń gbọ́rọ̀ mi báyìí.
I'm going to.
Sẹ́rí, èmi ò fẹ́ kí ká máa tanra wa. Èmi believe lórí fact pé ká máa tanra wa ní tí ò ṣeé ṣe. Lára arú ẹ̀ ló ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú arábìnrin yẹn náà. Káwọn èèyàn róòtọ́ ńlẹ̀ pé kíní yóò possible kò bá làákàyè mu. Káwọn èèyàn sì máa sọ pé ọ̀nà lọ́nà. Màá dáhùn ìbéèrè yín o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí bí o ní 5 million. Ṣé èèyàn 5 million tó sign signature àwọn èèyàn 5 million ni wọ́n kó jọ?
I was against that. I stood up against
irọ́ ni kò possible. Báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ possible? Báwo lè èèyàn 5 million ó ṣe sign symbol láti fẹ́ rí signatory èèyàn 5 million? It's not possible. Kí nìdí? Olóṣèlú tó ń campaign tó náwó náírà tó ná billions of naira. Mélòó ni gbogbo vote tí Tinubu rí? All over the federation. Gbogbo vote tó rí ò ju 8 million lọ. All over the federation là ń sọ. Mélòó ni gbogbo vote tó rí ní gbogbo southwest? Àti APC ni o, àti PDP ni o, àti LP ni o, kan total gbogbo vote southwest. So to 5 million ni. Is it up to 5 million? Ní 2023 election tó ń ṣe. This is common sense. Èèyàn 5 million vote fún Tinubu ní gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Gbogbo àti Tinubu ni o, àtàtìkù ni o, àtòbí ni kan total gbogbo ẹ̀ kò wọ 5 million. Báwo la wá ṣe fẹ́ mọ̀ deceive ara wa ní tàmọ̀ pé kò possible. Ọ̀nà tá a lè fi gba òmìnira, ọ̀nà àkọ́kọ́, ọ̀nà pé ẹ bá fẹ́ jagun kan para wọn. Tó bá wu United Nations, wọn wọ́ bọ́n ṣe split wa tó bá ṣe possible ọ̀nà kan nù. Tó bá fẹ́ gba òmìnira, a lè gbà nítùbínùbí. Nítùbínùbí báwo? Through diplomatic means. Bá a ṣe ń pòkìkí lágbàáyé tá ń pariwo káàkiri pa fẹ́ lọ ní in a peaceful way. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà là ń ṣe nílé láti lè convince àwọn èèyàn wa. Ìpètọ̀ a fẹ́ lọ díẹ̀ ní tó máa take time ni. Táwọn yìí náà fi rí pé yes, ó yẹ ká lọ ń tòótọ́. Èmi ń sọ kíní kan fún yín sẹ́ni lókè ọ̀yà tẹ́ ń wò yẹn. Àwọn wo ló ń sọ́fà jù nílùú tá ń pè ní Nàìjíríà? Kò sẹ́ni tó ń tọ́fà tó àwọn arókè ọ̀yà. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Àwọn Hausa Fúlàní. Àwọn ló ń jẹ ìyáláyà àjà jù gidi gan. Wọ́n ń jẹ ìyáláyà àjà gidi gan. Lẹ́yìn wọn ló kan Ìgbò.
lẹ́yìn wọn ló kan Yorùbá kí ló fà tó fi kan Ìgbò ni pé majority wọn ìlú wọn ò ṣeé gbé fact ni kò sí rọ́ńbẹ́ ìlú wọn ò ṣeé gbé n kò sílẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ìwà wọn gan ò dáa síra wọn ó wọ́ lọ́dọ̀ wọn so ibi tí mo wá lọ ni pé nígbàgbọ́ ti tèmi ọ̀rọ̀ nípa ogun Yorùbá ológun kankan jà and kò sì make sense ká sọ pé a fẹ́ ta ẹ̀jẹ̀ sílẹ̀ àwọn èèyàn ń tá a lè ṣe òun náà ni through diplomatic means tá bá sọ pé a fẹ́ gba kóòtù lọ is a waste of time aláǹgbéjọba lọ sí kóòtù ta ni kóòtù ta ni ìjọba election tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé àwọn gọ́vnà ìpè kìnnìkìnnì tó padà ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣé báwọn gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ẹ jẹ́ kán padà APC gẹ́gẹ́ ló bá àwọn Supreme Court sọ̀rọ̀ pé ẹ dá kínní ẹ padà fún wọn tó pé àwọn tó ń jọ wà ní the same party wọ́n ń bínú ní irú Kano State ó jẹ́ kan nínú ẹ̀ tó pé Abba gan fúnra ẹ̀ tó jẹ́ gọ́vnà Kano State ó fẹnu ara rẹ̀ sọ pé òun dúpẹ́ pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ Tinubu gidi gan gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n lọ sí ẹ wá sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ gbé ìjọba lọ sí kóòtù ẹ lọ fẹ́ gbé ìjọba lọ it's a waste of time adájọ́ tó wà mẹ́ta ló fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ fún adájọ́ tó wà mẹ́ta Nàìjíríà kọ́ ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún ni aláwọn èèyàn wa ni ká bá sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ń challenge nígbà àwa tá a lọ ṣe grassroots nínú grassroots tá a láṣẹ láwọn míì ẹ rí university student mo lọ sí wọ́n invite mi lọ sí Ìbàdàn mo lọ ṣe lecture bàtí mo parí lecture yẹn tán ẹnìkan wá pè mí lọ sí Apẹtẹ síbi kan Apẹtẹ yẹn ibẹ̀ ni àwọn university lecturers majority wọn ló ń kọ́lé síbẹ̀ because ó close mọ́ polytechnic ó sì then ibẹ̀ tó wọ́n láwọn hostel pọ̀ sí bámú táwọn èèyàn kọ́ hostel síbẹ̀ ẹni tó wá invite mi àsomọ̀ bí abẹ́ ẹ̀gí àwọn university lecturer ló wà ń bẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ èpè burúkú ni wọ́n ṣe fún wa láwọn èpè kàbìtìkàbìtì these are Yorùbá people ṣé wọn why because kò yé wọn ò gbọ́ yé èpè ńláńlá èpè burúkú ìjọ sá mi ò mọ̀ bí ẹlẹ́fẹ́ mi náà láàyè láti lè sọ̀rọ̀ mo mọ̀ pé ọ̀rẹ́ mi ó.
networking.
Hello.
Okay à ń gbọ́ yín sìn ó wá lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀.
Okay so mo á sọ fún ọ̀rẹ́ mi yẹn pé mo sọ fún àwọn tí mo bá lórí ibi abẹ́ igi àwọn university lecturer yẹn pé ẹ jọ sá mi ò mọ̀ pé ẹ lè gbà mí láàyè ẹni tó sọ̀rọ̀ tán nísìn wọn náà kò sí wàhálà ṣẹ̀rí ńgbà tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe àlàyé báyìí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn pé ẹ wo ó bẹ́tà o ó yẹ ká dá dúró ó yẹ ká lọ o nígbà tí ò yé àwọn èèyàn ọ̀tọ̀ ní wisdom ọ̀tọ̀ ní knowledge ìgbà míì bẹ́tẹ̀ kò yé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ipe ní àǹfààní ń bẹ pípi ká dá dúró ìwé kan ń bẹ tó wà lọ́wọ́ mi nísìn ìwé tí mo ṣe tá a pè àkọlé rẹ̀ ní answers to frequently asked
questions.
lára àwọn question tí wọ́n ń throw sí mi ẹ gbọ́ o ọ̀kan sọ yìí pé ní ẹlẹ́fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation ọ̀mọ̀wé ní bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹ̀bùsí báwo lẹsẹ fẹ́ ṣe ó sọ̀rọ̀ Ìbàdàn ó sọ pé òun ò bẹ́kìtì ṣe Èkìtì ó sọ pé òun ò bá kìíní sí ẹ ní convince wọn a ní láti convince wọn Yorùbá nation yẹn fẹ́ Yorùbá nation báwo lẹsẹ fẹ́ pín asset Nàìjíríà ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ò yí àwọn èèyàn àwa sì ń sọ lọ́wọ́ tá a wà ń lé à ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ní ọ̀nà tá a fi lè gba kínní yìí first leaders máa tó jẹ́ Murik Professor Akintola tó ní kíní Muslim Rights nìkan group mo pè wọ́n níjọ́ kan bàbá àròkọ rẹ̀ lójú fídíò wọn sí mi tí wọ́n ṣe lecture yẹn wọ́n rubbish ń ta gbé dání bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni máa yín náà lérò nílẹ̀ Yorùbá o òun náà lérò títí ẹ̀ mo wá watch video yẹn bàbá àròkọ wa ń bu mo ní no don't blame him àwọn tó sọ̀rọ̀ tó make sense ni mo wá pe máa yí calm down gidi gan tí mo wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí yẹn nàná ẹ̀ mo ní ẹ jẹ́ kí n fún yín lápèjúwe nísìn mùsùlùmí lẹ́yìn kí mo fẹ́ deceive ara mi fún kí mo fẹ́ tan ara mi fún gbogbo mo lọ bí wọn ò kà mí kún nothing torí wọ́n ní ìgbàgbọ́ wọn ni pé ní èmi ẹ ṣe ẹ̀yà wọn mi ẹ sára wọn ìlú tó wá di pé ní UNESCO fẹ́ gba àwọn èèyàn síṣẹ́ UNESCO tá bá sọ pé ní UNESCO ṣe pé kò ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú gọ́fẹ̀mẹ̀ntì international body làwọn eléyìí àwọn arókè ọ̀rẹ́ mi kan wá fún mi ní slot ó ní kí n lọ apply mo ní apply ó wá sọ pé ní then ipe kíni indíjì yẹn ó máa fún mi ní form mo ní indíjì bí báwo ó ní sí mo mọ àwọn èèyàn wa wọ́n ti há slot yẹn ọlá pé òun wà nínú assembly ló fi fún mi mo ní tó mọ̀ pé kò ní work Babátúndé ó wà nínú certificate wọn ò ní gbà ó ní má wọrí wọn wọrí àwọn ìwà fún mi ní form mo lọ fill form yẹn ìgbà tí mo fill form mo wá nínú form yẹn wọ́n wá sọ pé ní màá lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ district ward ó máa village head ó máa fọwọ́ sí district head òun náà máa fọwọ́ sí then a tún á lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn wọ́n ń pè wọ́n ní kí ló kọ́ tó ń pè wọ́n náà bí ministry agency kan ní dé òun ní final stage guidance and counseling nígbà tí mo dé ọ̀dọ̀ village head ó ní láéláé kò sí ní tó jọ ó lè wo èyí sára wa ní nǹkan tí èsì nǹkan àjọba ó ní èyí sára wa yóò bá ní ọ́ ó èyí sára wa mo ní àpẹẹlẹ yìí èsì nǹkan gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì náà kì í ṣe nǹkan state ká má fọ̀rọ̀ gùn mi ò kò sí nǹkan kan kò bọ́ sí o ẹwẹ́ tó lọ gọ́tọ̀ ọdún ẹ̀jẹ̀ mo á ń sọ fún màá pé ní kò ní òbí pé ní ẹni tó bá wá láti Niger tó wọ Kano lónìí àbó wọ Katsina lónìí àbó wọ Sokoto lónìí ó ti dára wọn as long as tó ti jẹ́ ẹ̀yà wọn tó ti jẹ́dẹ̀ wọn which mean pé wọ́n value ẹ̀yà títí wọn nìyẹn gbogbo orú nǹkan tá a lè máa fi convince àwọn èèyàn wa pé mo máa sọ fún pé ìwọ tó bá bí ọ dá tó sọ pé mùsùlùmí ni ọ tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ fa wàhálà ẹlẹ́yàmẹ̀yà wọ wá sí Kano State àbí kó lọ sí Sokoto kó sọ pé mùsùlùmí ni ọ bọ́n bá ní bẹ́ẹ̀ orí rẹ̀ kí là ń tara wa fún wàhálà máa yẹn farabalẹ̀ wọ́n list sí wọ́n sọ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ tó ń dùn àwọn ni pé ní the way báwọn èèyàn wa ṣe ń ṣe wọ́n ń ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé nǹkan awo gẹ́gẹ́ bíi pé nǹkan wọ́n fẹ́ àwọn bíi traditional kìíní ni wọ́n fẹ́ gbé jáde àwọn èèyàn ń bẹ tó pé ní ìròrí wọn ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ni ẹlòmíràn sọ pé wọ́n fẹ́ gbé a lọ sí òòṣà ni alẹ́ nínú àwọn tó ń campaign fún Yorùbá Nation tí ń sọ pé ní ẹ wo abọ̀dọ̀ padà sí ìpìlẹ̀ ni o òòṣà á padà sí kinní kan òòṣà o tẹ̀sí mọ̀ pé ó wà nínú millions of Yorùbá Muslim tí wọn ò ní báyà idea yẹn tí referendum bá ṣẹlẹ̀ mo fi dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ mi wa Dr. Janet Fashakin tó ń sọ yí pé ní tó ń bá fi lè conduct referendum wàláì tó bá conduct referendum I'm telling you more than 85% of Yoruba they are not going to support this struggle simply because they don't understand the reason why we are.
I really cannot understand.
And I'm saying this thing simply because mo ti lọ sórí field mo lọ káàkiri mo ti lecture káàkiri mo interview àwọn èèyàn mo gbọ́n tí àwọn èèyàn ń sọ pé wọn ò ní àwọn míì sọ pé ní kí ni wọ́n tún fẹ́ gbé wa nísìn kí ni guarantee pé ní tàbá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá Nation tàti ní máa para wa wọ́n béèrè bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣé ẹ̀rí jà táwọn ara wa gan jà ni lórí pé kí ni aláǹfẹ́ òmìnira ẹ wo bá ṣe ń ṣe pẹ̀lú ìlera wa.
Yeah, but this is not new. This is what you are talking about. What you are talking about is not new. When the British were negotiating with Nigeria, Northern Nigeria had one voice. Eastern Nigeria had one voice. Western Nigeria had many voices. It was the skill of Awolowo that brought things together. It wasn't as if the Yorubas were united. The Yorubas, people have been trying to unite the Yorubas for a long time. Reverend Johnson, who wrote the history of the Yoruba that we are all quoting today, that's one of the reasons why he wrote the book, to show that we Yorubas were from the same stock. We have always been like that. There is absolutely nothing new.
That is why
when the time of referendum comes, people will go and campaign for it. The idea that, and I can tell you because somebody has done an academic study of what you are talking about amongst the Yoruba that is published in a journal, where 95% of the people who he interviewed said they wanted Nigeria, Yoruba people, they wanted Nigeria dissolved. So what I don't understand is this, that there is some kind of way where those of us who think differently are being discouraged. And I don't think that is right. The Yoruba say, Onokan Waja. There's nobody who knows the best way of getting self-determination for Yoruba people. Nobody. Nobody has the experience. Nobody has the experience. We are all guessing. You're guessing. I'm guessing.
There are two ways of getting our independence. It has happened.
You don't know that.
It's either through war or through diplomatic means. These are the two ways. And the Yoruba, as far as I'm concerned, Yoruba, they are not ready for that. Nobody wants to die. Then secondly, when you are talking of diplomatic means, you need to carry along with your people. You need to convince your people. Are you telling me that you are, okay, as I'm talking to you as a Muslim, are you telling me that you are going to force me to join Yoruba nation without convincing my people? They will be thinking that maybe it's a Christian agenda or it's a traditionalist agenda.
I have just told you what happened when Awolowo was trying to negotiate independence for us. The Yorubas were divided. There's nothing new. They're not talking about something new. It was a skill. It was Awolowo's political skill that brought everything together. Even when they voted in the House, Ibadan, for example, they had their own people with Adelabu there. The Ijeshas had their own people. The Ijebus had their own people. It was Awolowo's skill as a statesman that brought everything together. So the idea that let me tell you something. The Yorubas have always existed as independent, autonomous people. Yoruba land, the Yoruba Empire, as big as it was, extending from the Volta to the Niger, as big as it was based on city-states. The Ijebu, not even just Ijebu and Ijebu Rema, they had their own kings. They had their own way, their own autonomous government, their own autonomous economic system. That is how that is how we Yoruba are. We were never this group of people that just, what you require, as I've kept saying over and over again, is leaders that have bottle.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let me, because of time, I'm conscious of time. I promise my viewers and my guests also that I'm not going to do more than 1 hour, 30 minutes. I've overstepped that by 30 minutes. Just 1 minute to round up because I need to end the show. My producer is telling me. Let me start with you, Fashakin. Just 1 minute with the time here. 1 minute. 1 minute to. How do we get out? How do we get out? 1 minute.
Muted.
Unmute yourself. Hola.
Sorry, I've told you my view. There are two ways, as far as I'm concerned, in which this can be done. The traditional rulers of Yoruba land can come together and declare Yoruba nation because the political elites are not going to do it. They're too cowardly.
Is that not going to be similar to what Onitiri did?
Don't let us talk about Onitiri at all.
I'm asking a question.
Because, no, I'm just telling you, when Onitiri, one of the reasons why I was ostracized from the media was because I opposed Onitiri right from the beginning. Because I started a petition which is being signed online. I struggled to get 10,000 signatures, and this woman was saying that she had 5 million. I mean, so I mean, and after because I opposed her, since June of 2022, I have not been asked to come on any media show at all, except when Omoboriwo came to come and convince me that I should come back. What I'm trying to say is this. One of the problems that we have as Yoruba people is to always say that one method of doing things is the only way and that somebody else's way of doing it is wrong.
No,
the idea that you cannot go to court because, let me give you an example. There was a case of 12 Cameroonians. They took Nigeria to court under the African Charter, Article 20.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking Nigeria to take Cameroon to court on their behalf. The court, the federal court in Abuja, accepted jurisdiction. Although the case was not decided on its merits because the Cameroonians went to go and negotiate somewhere else. The fact of the matter was that the Nigerian court, a federal court, accepted jurisdiction. So the idea that we cannot get anything from Nigerian court, all courts are, almost everywhere. For example, the United States now, we know that the Supreme Court is corrupt, but you still use the court, even though they are corrupt. If you don't go to court, how will anybody know that you've tried? Don't let us deceive ourselves. It is either a group of leaders of Yoruba decide that we are going to have self-determination and they say, yes, we are having it today, or we fight this through the court.
Okay, thank you. Barrister Fashakin, are you still there? Because of time, I need to round up. If you're not there, let me quickly go to Citizen AY. Tell us, how do we get out of now? I've just heard from my friend.
Okay, Barrister is back. Dr.
Fashakin, 1 minute. How do we get out of Nigeria?
How do we get out of Nigeria?
We have been talking.
It's a big question. The reality of which we have refused to face. We believe by saying we want Yoruba nation, bingo, Yoruba nation to jump out at me. We cannot but talk about her. Believe it or not, she's a factor to be reckoned with in this Yoruba nation, negatively or positively. Whichever way. Yoruba nation, and that's where our name will always come up. We cannot bury the name. It will always come up. Yoruba nation. I mean, I gave my own idea. Another one is
a virgin land.
Yes, now Nigeria on jurisdiction, the lorry. That's a very quick way.
United Nations.
United Nations.
Sahara Desert is free.
What?
Because Israel to get Sahara now, to get dry world leader. Banana, pomegranate, gbogbo kini wọ̀nyẹn. Wọ́n mọ bọ́n ṣe pilot gbogbo omi àtomi ìwé àtomi ìfọ́nú. Wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹ̀jọ́ tó dẹ̀ máa fi wet àwọn nǹkan wọn. So we can make it happen. Pé Nigeria o, tí ẹ bá ti fún wa ní Yorùbá nation, àwa ń lọ, ó dìgbà ó ṣe. Bye bye. Ṣe bí gbogbo àwọn bàbá wa yìí náà wọ́n migrate wá láti ibì kan ni. Let's migrate out of Nigeria now.
Give up birthright. Well, no. Feel bàbá ti wá lẹ̀ o. Àwọn alálẹ̀ lọ gbélé fún wa ma.
Odùduwà wá láti ibì kan mà ní. Ó máa fi bàbá ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ lọ́hùn-ún.
On a more serious note.
No, again, sorry, it's a serious note. It's a serious something that I'm proposing. Lórí àti wà lórí kíní báyìí láti 2019. À ń yí lọ, à ń yí bọ̀ ní. A fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. A fẹ́ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ ẹnu ò lè gba Yorùbá nation. A dẹ̀ fẹ́ jà. Okay? Tó bá jẹ́ pọ́n sọ pé ká jà báyìí. Bóyá a lọ wá àwọn military kíní kan níbì kan. Àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń jà ìjàngbara téèyàn á fún lówó. Tá wá jà, tá ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀. Àmì ìdí ẹ̀rù pa nírú owó bẹ́ẹ̀. Okay, so how do we live? Tá a bá ní lọ sí virgin land níbì kan, tí a bá dẹ̀ ní jà, tí àwọn tó dẹ̀ jẹ́ ìyókù bí irú àwọn tán rí ṣe ní Nàìjíríà, àwọn Fúlàní tán ní over their dead body, tí president náà rẹ́rìn-ín nígbà tó gba lẹ́tà bàbá wípé bàbá gan mọ̀ wípé kò lè possible, ìyẹn president Tinubu, torí mò ń gbọ́ ní orí news kan tí ò kì í ṣe ti Yorùbá Nation lánàá táwọn yẹn ń sọ wípé president Tinubu ti gba ìwé yẹn o, ó dẹ̀ rẹ́rìn-ín, ó sọ pé even bàbá Bánjí gan mọ̀ wípé nǹkan tó ń propose kò lè possible, ó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Okay, so what do we do, where do we go? Òun lèmi fi sọ wípé tíwájú ò bá ṣe é lọ ń gbà míì, ẹ̀yin máa ṣe é padà sí. We were the proponents of restructuring. Ó ní ìdí tá a fi abandon ẹ̀. Ìdí tá a fi abandon ẹ̀ ní ìgbà tí vice president yìí, kí lorúkọ ẹ̀ dákun, kí ni ń jẹ́?
Ọ̀ṣínbàjò.
Irọ́, Ọ̀ṣínbàjò àná nìyẹn.
Oh, you mean ti Shettima.
Nígbà yẹn ló sọ wípé restructuring my foot. Ó ní gbogbo wa ṣe sọ pé okay, if restructuring is your foot, ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ìjọba Fúlàní la wà. We want out of this ìjọba Fúlàní. We want our own Yoruba nation. Bá a ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ campaign fún Yoruba nation nìyẹn, many people may not know or remember. Bó ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn. When I was part of the people that led the campaign for restructuring lọ sí United Nations ní 2019. Okay? Ó ní mi ò kí n má sọ nǹkan, kí n má ti sọ nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ sọ yẹn nípa Nàìjíríà àti why I have not been able to go. So restructuring là ń campaign lọ́jọ́ yẹn ní United Nations, níwájú ibẹ̀, ní gbogbo ẹ̀, ní Nigeria Embassy, gbogbo ẹ̀ la lọ tá a dé. We were campaigning for restructuring. Tíwájú ò bá ṣe é lọ, tí ó jẹ́ pé a kàn máa máàchì lójú ká máa pariwo Yorùbá nation. Since many people are agreeing to restructuring, ẹ jẹ́ reverse, let's take that and then ká fi yẹn sọ́wọ́, káwa máa wá fi wá béèrè Yorùbá nation rather than 0% tó wà lọ́wọ́ wa ń sìn táwọn. Torí nǹkan kan tí mo rí lọ́rọ̀ wa ni pé àwọn kan wà tó jẹ́ pé àmọ́ bóyá wọ́n ń ba nǹkan jẹ́ ni àbọ̀ ń tún nǹkan ṣe. Tó bá rí pé nǹkan yìí ó wà impossible, wọ́n á jókòó tí wọ́n á ní ìyẹn gangan làwọn fẹ́, ìyẹn gan làwọn fẹ́. Wọ́n ti tilẹ̀kùn, ẹ ṣáà ń gbárí mọ́lẹ̀kùn. Okay, ẹ wo plan B, àwọn ò ní go plan B kankan o. Ṣé ẹ rí ilẹ̀kùn tó wà níbí làwọn ó gbárí mọ́ títí ayé ó fi forí wọn kọjá tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ó fi lọ. Èèyàn máa ń gba nǹkan tó bá rí ń gbà míì kó bá a lè fi rí nǹkan tó fẹ́. So let's just sit down together at a round table as Yoruba people. Ká bára wa gan sòótọ́ ọ̀rọ̀. Ká sọ̀rọ̀ sí agbárí ara wa gan pé look, ṣebí many of them ń sọ pé àwọn náà fẹ́ restructuring. Ọbásanjọ́ gan ti jáde tó lóun fẹ́ restructuring. Ẹ jẹ́ support wọn fún restructuring, kan restructure. Ńgbà bá gba restructuring ti wá sọ́wọ́ tán, ọ̀rọ̀ á wá tó sọ pé okay o, àwa rèé o, Yorùbá nation àti káàbọ̀ ara wa out o, à ń lọ nìyẹn sẹ́, kò sẹ́ni tó lè dá wa dúró. Bó bá ṣe wà yìí ọdún 10 èní, kọ́lọ́run gbọ́ àdúrà wa nítorí àràárọ̀ làwa ń gbà Olúwa fún wa ní Yorùbá nation, fún wa ní Yorùbá nation. Ṣùgbọ́n ọpọlọ tọ́lọ́run fún wa yìí náà láti lè fi ronú ni nígbà míì ká fi lè wo nǹkan.
Bàbá Aliyu, because of time I need to close in another 2 minutes. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ 1 minute pé kí la ṣe fẹ́ jáde nínú Nàìjíríà, then final word citizen. 1 minute ẹ jẹ́.
Kò sí nǹkan tó rújú lẹ̀. Gbogbo àwọn tó ń gba kọ́ńtì wọn tó ń gba òmìnira àti rí ẹ̀kọ́ kọ́ nínú ẹ̀. Àwọn míì bẹ wọ́n gba òmìnira, wọ́n para wọn ní ìjà ni wọ́n jà títí tó fi á dá sí tó kálukú lọ lọ́tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀. Àwọn míì sì wọ́n gba òmìnira through negotiation. Kó tó di pé negotiation yẹn work gan, wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ nílé. Wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, wọ́n ti ṣe nílé. Àárín tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní court, agbọ́ ti judgement tí court sọ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ torí àwọn tó ń pè ìjọba ní kìíní tó láwọn fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Kí ni adájọ́ sọ? Adájọ́ sọ pé ní àwọn wo ló ń pẹjọ́, àwọn wo ló wọ́n represent, ta ni wọ́n represent, níbo ni wọ́n ti wá. Àwọn èèyàn rẹ́rìn ní ilé gbogbo ẹ̀rọ aládìlẹ́kọ̀ọ́ táwọn èèyàn ń ka pépà tó ń rẹ́rìn ipe wọ́n pe gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì níjọ́. Àwọn òwò wọn ò ní ta ló rán wọn. A nídìí àti convince àwọn èèyàn wa sẹ́ kó yé wọn. Nígbàgbọ́ ti tèmi nìyẹn. Tá a bá kárí àwọn èèyàn wa lọ, níbi kankan lọ. Àǹtà bá sì sọ pé ní a fẹ́ gba òmìnira kìí ṣe one way gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn ọmọ mi wá ṣe sọ nísìn. Ṣé tá a bá gba tó wá pé ní restructuring yẹn náà ni tó wá pé ó bá possible tá a gbà yẹn, ẹ dákun torí tọlọ́run sáà tí àti lọ́nà ọ̀nà náà nìyẹn tá a bá gbọ́kànlé pé ọba ti bá àwọn ọba sọ̀rọ̀ ọba wo lẹ fẹ́ bá sọ̀rọ̀ ta ló fi wọ́n jọba àwọn politician kan fi wọ́n síbẹ̀ ni wọ́n representative governor ni wọ́n yes representative àwọn governor ni wọ́n èyí state ifẹ̀ ni ó sọ pé òun yóò jáde síta pé òun fẹ́ Yorùbá nation gbọ́ statement ń jáde lẹ́nu ẹ̀ ni àbí ti tèkó àbí bí ti tọ̀sùn tèwó ló fẹ́ bọ́ tàbí sọ pé òun fẹ́ Yorùbá nation wọn ò ní sọ pé àwọn fẹ́ ṣùgbọ́n àwa ti la nílùú.
bàbá ìfẹ́ tiẹ̀ sọ pé ó ní yẹ̀yẹ́ ni wá.
so àwa la nílùú tálíkà ló nílùú tálíkà ló pọ̀ àwa la pọ̀ tálíkà ni ká bá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tí à ń jẹ ni ká jẹ́ kó understand kó lajú kó jí ẹ kó rí ẹ pé because tára àlú bá sọ pé ní àwọn òfẹ́ ó tó gẹ́ wọ́n máa gbà finally lókè ọ̀ya ẹ má bínú sà lókè ọ̀ya nísìn ara àwọn tó ń sọ yìí pé ń pẹ́ kán tó pín àwọn òkúkú láǹfààní táwọn jẹ́ ń bi Nàìjíríà yìí ó ń pẹ́ kán tó pín so táwọn bá ń agitate àwọn náà lè bínú kan sọ pé ó ń pẹ́ tálíkà àwọn náà lè ya sílùú wọn lè bọ́ta pé ń pẹ́ kán tó pín sáà ara àwọn tó dìde ni táwọn náà dìde pé ní ó yẹ ẹ máa ń sọ kájọ dàrú ẹ ṣeun.
ẹ ṣe ara nǹkan tí mo ṣe sọ pé we can also engage the Northerners. We are not doing that. Really? We are not engaging other people. We are not engaging them. We cannot do this thing alone. I understand what Fashakin is saying. I do appreciate what he's saying. Yes, if the group of people, we all have ideas. Alagba, 1 minute because I need to close down now, please.
Okay, sir. Now, for me, ọ̀nà bá ṣe máa gba Yorùbá nation, àwọn èèyàn wá láti wà nínú kìíní. Ṣé rí ọ̀nà àbáyọ kúrò nínú Yorùbá nation? Ó máa láti wá láàárín àwọn ìbílẹ̀ wa, àwọn èèyàn wa láti gbọ́ látọ̀dọ̀ wọn láti wà nínú nǹkan tá a jọ ń ṣe yìí. Àdẹ̀sí máa bá ara wa sọ̀rọ̀ náà, gbogbo àti èmi sì ń sọ Afẹ́nifẹ́re láti wà ń jókòó, ìlànà láti wà ń jókòó, gbogbo àwọn tí.
Ta ló gbé wọn dìde tó ní kán má wà ní ìjókòó?
No, mi sọ pé ká máa mo kàn ń ṣàlàyé ni mo kàn ń ṣàlàyé ni pé gbogbo ìyọ̀sí àwọn tó fẹ́ gún lọ́wọ́ sí yẹn o àmọ́ àwọn tó kù ṣe tá a bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ díẹ̀ ká gbé ìgbésẹ̀ lápapọ̀ gbogbo ọgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí Fashakin ṣe sọ gbogbo wa la ní ọgbọ́n ẹ jẹ́ ká kó papọ̀ eléyìí tó dé pé a lè múlò ká múlò ìkọ̀ọ̀kan la máa ń yọ ẹsẹ̀ kúrò nù kòtò tó bẹ̀rù wájú ẹ̀yìn àgbà a lè ṣe kíní lódìndí ẹ jẹ́ ká mú ní díẹ̀ mi sọjú yẹn lẹ́sẹ̀un sá.
àti 2019 tá a bá gba restructuring á ti níbi tá a ti máa dé tó wọ́ọ̀sì Yorùbá nation by now.
mo fẹ́ pẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín I feel honoured Yorùbá ní ẹni tó bá pè ní ló ń ṣọlá and that I called you and I highly appreciate you. Amariraba, God bless you. There might be one more time to do more shows like this, and I hope when I call you again, you'll be able to attend my viewers all over wherever you are. I want to thank everybody for listening.
Àwọn èèyàn contribute online, but anytime let's go through.
Yeah, thank them. I've sent a message to them. I want to thank them, to appreciate them because of time. So, yeah, Dr. Fashakin from New York, thank you very much. Fashakin from the UK, thank you. Alagba Aliyu from Republic of Nigeria, thank you very much. Citizen Emiati, we're also here in the UK. And Otunba is also, he lives in the UK. I appreciate it. God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.